Yo, yo, yo. All right, we're here. We're live. I'm about to put the link out, but the closing arguments have just picked back up like 2 minutes ago. So I'm just going to get this going and get the rest going behind the scenes and hopefully get some more people in here for this verdict watch party. Final day of trial for the Cardi B assault trials. Let's get it.
Photograph of Cardi to prove that her fingernails were an inch or less. It's a photograph that she testified was taken at the NBA also. And you heard counsel earlier say that Cardi testified that photograph was taken on the same day of the alleged incident on February 24. That's absolutely untrue. She did not testify to that. If you are unclear, the record can be read back to you, but I expect that you were here and heard Cardi testify that she was here for a week or so and kept the same fingernails this entire time, and that includes February 24th. The assertion by counsel that she testified to something she did not in fact testify to is something that Your Honor that the judge had already indicated is something you should disregard. Now, she testified that the nails she was wearing while she was in Los Angeles were coffin square and not pointy. That was a new one on me. Apparently coffin square means the shape and a square and it can't cut anything. She also confirmed and testified that the rhinestone images were flat. They were not pointy and they had no sharp edges. Apparently you can get little rhinestones either as little decals on fingerprints or as rhinestones themselves. I'm not like Dr. Finke, a fingernail expert, so I won't talk about that. But the point is, rhinestones can appear on a fingernail, a decorated fingernail, either as three-dimensional or as flat, which of course flat can't cut anything. And she testified, as did Dr. Finke. Well, excuse me, I misspoke. She testified that they were flat. Dr. Finke, counsel had said, testified that they were sharp. He actually testified he didn't know whether they were sharp or flat. It is very important, actually, also that while plaintiff's testimony about what happened is uncorroborated, she called no witnesses who were actually there. Cardi actually did have two witnesses. And we'll get back to that. I do want to mention something that plaintiff's counsel raised, which is there's testimony from Cardi that as plaintiff advanced towards her swearing and pushing her back, that their chests touched. And counsel told you that that's an assault right there, that his client wins. Well, there's a couple of problems with that. Just touching chests like that is not an assault, and if it is an assault, it's an assault by plaintiff on Cardi. Cardi was being pushed back. That's the testimony from all both of the witnesses and Cardi herself. But I should mention, just in case you want to know, there is an instruction in the jury instructions that deals with the defense of self-defense. Counsel said that that is inapplicable here because Cardi denies that she touched anyone or had to act in self-defense, or that she cut plaintiff. The point he's overlooking is that is up to you. You've heard the evidence. We think it's overwhelming that Cardi did not touch plaintiff at any point in time and did not touch this magic appearing, disappearing scar.
And I'm really not going to be pausing much. I'm just going to be letting him talk, but I will speed it up to catch up when I do pause. But yeah, we'll recap the closing arguments when we get done, but really want to listen to what's happening in real time, live.
But we have to be careful as lawyers. So we've included a defense of self-defense instruction, which means that if you were to find that Cardi did touch plaintiff, or that somehow a chest-to-chest caused by plaintiff is an assault by Cardi, which we dispute strongly, there is an instruction that the judge has given you that self-defense applies if a person reasonably believes that another person was going to harm her or him, and the person uses only the amount of force reasonably necessary for protection. I think there can be no doubt that Cardi was faced with someone bigger than her who was trying to hurt her. We know that from both Cardi's testimony, Tiara's testimony, Tiara Malcolm, and I believe also Dr. Finke. But let's talk about Ms. Malcolm, Tierra Malcolm. We called her as a witness, so we'll add her there. And she is one of the 4 people who are in the hallway, and she testified as an eyewitness, and she has no axe to grind. She's not a friend of Plaintiff. She's not a friend of Cardi. She doesn't work for Cardi. They never met before. And so, again, she's an independent third-party witness. She testified that she was Dr. Finke's receptionist and expecting Cardi for a secret appointment. As a receptionist, she was near the front door. That's why she got out first before Dr. Finke, whose office was in the back. She testified it was a Saturday and all the other offices in the building were closed. And they closed early because, quote, they didn't want anyone there when Cardi arrived. When Ms. Malcolm, she testified that when she heard yelling, she immediately ran out. She's near the door. There's nothing she really could have missed once the yelling started. Defendant's counsel has argued that, again, that she wasn't there in the beginning, but we know from her testimony that she was near the door, immediately ran out when she heard yelling. Now we have a visual rendering based on Plaintiff's own photograph of the hallway outside the doctor's office and based on the testimony and Cardi of Ms. Malcolm. This shows how far, you see the elevator bank and you see the doors that are depicted in the photograph that Plaintiff's counsel showed you. And where did they end up? They ended up in that corner. That's how far this demonstrates, based on the testimony and evidence in this case, how far Plaintiff forced Cardi B backwards and into the corner that Tierra Malcolm saw her when Tierra opened the door into the hallway.
Please show us this description. I'd love to work through it.
Ms. Malcolm specifically testified that when she opened the door, she saw that Plaintiff had Cardi against the corner.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see something like this because this really is a big fact that we're looking at here of whether or not this happened right in front of the elevator or this happened kind of down the hall, which would, if it was in front of the elevator, that would kind of give more credibility to the plaintiff's claims. But the fact that we're more down the hall gives more credibility to Cardi's claims, which is that Cardi was trying to walk away and the plaintiff was following her, basically instigating the incident herself. So this is a big fact here, and I'm glad he's highlighting this in the closing.
Ms. Malcolm testified that she said, "What are you doing? You're at work. Go back to your post." And that the plaintiff just refused. She was going after Cardi. She was yelling, screaming. Ms. Malcolm testified that she got between them, with Cardi behind her and with Ms. Malcolm facing plaintiff. The evidence is that at that point, Ms. Malcolm testified that plaintiff was swinging at Cardi, who was behind Ms. Malcolm. That's what she testified to. Now, Ms. Malcolm didn't realize at first that she was hit.
Now keep in mind, the receptionist, Ms. Malcolm, and the doctor, Dr. Finke, basically the 4 people in this hallway here. It was Cardi B, it was the plaintiff, it was the doctor, and the receptionist. They're all agreeing, well, at least the 3 of them, the doctor, receptionist, and Cardi B are all agreeing basically on the same sequence of events, that Cardi was basically cornered. She was backed up into a wall, and that the plaintiff was essentially the aggressor here. And so much so that when the receptionist got in between them, she got in between to try and break up the plaintiff and get the plaintiff moving back away from Cardi B. And she was facing the plaintiff. And then at the end of it, the receptionist walks away with this with a cut on her forehead, and which leads us to conclude the only person that really could have cut her was the plaintiff, not Cardi B, because the plaintiff was the one that was facing her face to face and swinging, trying to get over at Cardi B. So yeah, if anything, the lawsuit here should be between the receptionist suing security guard.
Even after Dr. Finke came out and tried to deal with plaintiff, Ms. Malcolm took Cardi into the office, and someone else at the office, this is what she testified, what Ms. Malcolm testified to, someone else at the office said, "What happened to your head?" That's when she found out. In all the brouhaha, she did not realize, with Cardi behind her and plaintiff in front of her swinging away, Ms. Malcolm did not realize that she had been hit. Now, counsel told you in his opening statement that Ms. Malcolm didn't know she was hit. She knew she was hit. She went back to the office and she saw the scratch on her own head. Counsel has argued
Your
that...
Honor, I would object to him referring to counsel. We can talk about facts on counsel.
Plaintiff's counsel has argued to you that the...
And this is especially funny because I caught a little bit of the plaintiff's closing arguments. He was getting objected to left and right through his closing. And let me let y'all in on a little secret here. It is hard to get objected to and have the objection be sustained in a closing argument. Lawyers have a lot of leeway, a lot of latitude in arguing their closing argument because it's the only time that you actually get to argue to the jury. And so the fact that the plaintiff's lawyer kept going into topics that were clearly objectionable and he was getting objected to by a defense lawyer and getting sustained on those objections, and now he's trying to hit him back with some objections back on the defense lawyer, and now he's getting overruled in his objections. It's just the objections have been so one-sided, but deservedly so. The plaintiff has been completely out of bounds for pretty much his entire trial, and getting increasingly desperate, I think, as he realizes that the case is just completely falling apart on him. So he's just really trying anything he can right now, including these feeble last-minute attempted objections.
That Ms. Malcolm didn't know who hit her. Okay, and he dwelled on that a lot in his cross-examination of Ms. Malcolm. And with all the things flying, with all of plaintiff's hands flying in the air, what Ms. Malcolm explained is her back was to Cardi. Ms. Malcolm specifically testified she did not see Cardi's hands go in front of her, go by Ms. Malcolm's head.
Yep.
But she did see plaintiff flailing away trying to get to Cardi.
Yep.
That's why she concludes that it was plaintiff who hit her. And it only makes sense. Cardi was behind Ms. Malcolm, and Ms. Malcolm was hit in the forehead, face to face with plaintiff. Again, I apologize for the language, but it's important that you hear this. Ms. Malcolm also heard plaintiff, who was almost double the size of Cardi, expressly threaten in no uncertain terms to harm Cardi. Quote, "I will F your shit up." That's what Tiara Malcolm testified to. She heard plaintiff threaten Cardi. That's an express threat. If anyone was being assaulted by threats of immediate offensive contact, it was Cardi who was being assaulted by plaintiff. Ms. Malcolm testified that while Cardi was behind her and Ms. Malcolm was face to face with plaintiff, Ms. Malcolm did not see any scratches or cuts on plaintiff's face, any blood on plaintiff's face, any injury at all on plaintiff's face, or any spit or spittle on plaintiff's face. Ms. Malcolm also testified that Dr. Finke came out of the office into the hallway and tried to get plaintiff to stop and leave. Ms. Malcolm then got Cardi into the doctor's office. She testified that throughout this, plaintiff had her phone in her hand. I want to repeat that since she testified here that she was using earphones. We've got another witness who says plaintiff was standing there, flailing away with her phone in her hand. Now, Ms. Malcolm also testified, and I know this gets a little bit repetitive, but it's important you remember this testimony and you take it into account when you deliberate. Ms. Malcolm also testified that Cardi did not hit plaintiff, that Cardi did not cut plaintiff with her fingernails, that Cardi did not use the N-word. Ms. Malcolm testified with Cardi behind her, almost touching her back. She did not see or feel Cardi swing at plaintiff. They didn't touch each other, although counsel asked what about chest to chest, and Ms. Malcolm testified, which seems truthfully, when plaintiff had Cardi in a corner, Malcolm could not tell if their chests were touching. That's because she's behind them. She's coming out of the office door. Ms. Malcolm also testified that a few months later, plaintiff asked Ms. Malcolm to help her go after Cardi. Now, if you remember, counsel for plaintiff elicited testimony from plaintiff that she never really intended to sue Cardi. She never intended to go after Cardi. But that's not what Ms. Malcolm says. Ms. Plaintiff was trying to elicit witnesses to support a claim against Cardi.
And this was 2 months after the incident itself. So this was very quickly after that the plaintiff here was calling the receptionist, trying to get her to sign on to a lawsuit for a workers' comp claim. And the receptionist basically said, no, you were the problem here. The problem here was not Cardi B. It was you. You were the instigator. You were the violent one. I had to break you away from her. So, even though she was the bigger one. So, yeah. So, and let's keep in mind, too, the plaintiff expressly denied. She was asked directly, did you ever call the receptionist to try and get her to support for a lawsuit? She said, absolutely not. I never contacted her. But then you get the receptionist who came up and testified and said, oh yeah, she called me like 2-3 months after this incident, which was the same time, remember, that the plaintiff admitted she was trying to put together a workers' comp lawsuit. So she just, basically the plaintiff she just got caught lying, like left and right, all throughout this entire case. And do I believe Cardi B was being a bit instigative and boisterous in that moment? Yeah, I absolutely believe that. But to suggest that she viciously assaulted and battered this innocent bystander, this plaintiff here, is just completely ridiculous. That's why my vote is still clearly not liable for any damages in this case.
And Ms. Malcolm said thank you, but no thank you. And she did that because she felt the plaintiff was at fault, and, quote, she handled everything unprofessionally, close quote. Now, we also called Dr. Finke. He, too, was there the day of the incident, and he, too, has no axe to grind. He is not her regular doctor and never has been.
And this is what's crazy, too, is the defense ended up calling what I think the defense called more witnesses than the plaintiffs called. And not just like expert witnesses to talk about different expert categories, but like fact witnesses about what happened there. Because there were 4 people that were there in that hallway: Cardi B, plaintiff, and the receptionist and the doctor. The only witness out of those 4 that the plaintiff called was the plaintiff. The other 3, I guess she did call Cardi B, but she called her as a hostile witness, which you figure she's going to call her anyway. But the 2 unbiased objective witnesses, the receptionist and the doctor, didn't call either of them. Cardi B had to call them as defense witnesses because that's how favorable they were to the defense and unfavorable they were to the plaintiff. So beyond that, though, yeah, Cardi B, like her presentation of evidence was just a lot more oriented around discovering the truth and like what actually happened in the situation. The plaintiff's testimony was largely based on her perception of what happened only, what she feels about it, and how damaged she was as a result of it. And having her mom testify about, yeah, I saw a difference in her before and after, and her grandma got up to testify, oh yes, my sweet little innocent angel flower child, she's always been a peacemaker, she's gotten just so upset since this incident. It's like, okay, I get you're gonna say that, your mom and your grandma, but can we get people to actually talk about what happened here? And she didn't. The plaintiff didn't. She had no photos of the injury. She had, one photo of the injury, and it was a low-resolution, blurry photo that really did not show anything. And there was 4 years, a 4-year time span where she could have pulled photos from. Did not have a single photo to show the extent of these injuries, and did not have an expert to testify to the extent of her emotional damage. The only expert who testified on that was a defense expert, who said that even if we assume that she is correct in diagnosing herself as having PTSD, assuming that's true, she has PTSD, the level of symptoms that she was reporting, like how extreme the symptoms were, would only occur in 2 out of 1 billion people with PTSD. That's how crazy, fabricated and exaggerated the symptoms were. So pretty much every element of this case is working against the plaintiff right now, and for good reason. They put on a crappy case, and the plaintiff's lawyer was a crappy lawyer.
He saw her that one occasion on February 24, 2018, when Cardi was here for work for the NBA All-Star Weekend, and was concerned. She was pregnant, she wanted to see an obstetrician, and an appointment was made. He is a completely disinterested third-party witness with no axe to grind. Now, Dr. Finke, like Cardi and like Tiara Malcolm, testified that plaintiff, well, first of all, he testified his office was at the back of the suite. He heard yelling, and he immediately ran to the front. Okay, so he gets there very quickly, too. And he just has a little bit more distance to cover. And he testified, like Cardi and like Ms. Malcolm, that plaintiff had her cell phone in her hand. He saw plaintiff trying to hit Cardi. He saw poor Ms. Malcolm in the middle. And by the way, do you remember in the opening?
Not Malcolm in the middle. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Counsel for plaintiff said, well,
That-
Malcolm puts
that-
herself into the fight. If she gets hit, she gets hit. That's what happens when you try to help. I mean, really? I mean, you know, she's a doctor's receptionist. She sees a patient coming there for a secret appointment, a pregnant patient. She tries to stop a security guard who's got the patient cornered in the hallway, and that's like, she asked for it? Is that really the answer? Dr. Finke also testified that Ms. Ellis had scratched Ms. Ellis, plaintiff had scratched Malcolm's head. If you remember, the evidence is that Tiara Malcolm did not realize she was scratched until someone else in the office, the doctor's office, pointed it out, and also that Dr. Finke, once he got plaintiff to leave, which he refused to do, that he went back into the office, so he had a chance to see her at that point. That supports his testimony that he saw the scratch on Malcolm,
True.
not on plaintiff. Dr. Finke also testified that he told plaintiff, do your job, you're a security guard. But plaintiff kept yelling and she refused to leave. Kept yelling at them, kept yelling at Cardi. Now, while Dr. Finke tried to get plaintiff to leave, he was face to face with her. He testified they were within a foot of each other. And he testified he saw no cuts or scratches to plaintiff's face. He saw no blood on her face. Despite the fact that he testified that a cut on one's face bleeds more than a cut on any part of the body. This woman claims that she was cut in that encounter, but no one has testified that she had blood in her face. In fact, she testified she doesn't know if she had blood on her face from a scratch that has supposedly ruined her life. He also testified that he saw no spit or spittle on her. He also heard, he was there when plaintiff expressly threatened harm to Cardi by saying, I will F your S up. Now, Finke testified that Cardi did not spit on plaintiff or anyone else, did not take a swing at plaintiff, did not hit plaintiff, did not cut or scratch plaintiff, did not threaten to get plaintiff fired, did not use the N-word, and did not call plaintiff fat or poor. Dr. Finke also testified that once Cardi was safe in his office, he examined her in an examining room, and she did not have 3-inch fingernails. Now, in an interesting term, that was a surprise to me as well. He said he actually notices his patient's fingernails because it's a way of calming them down. It's a
Dr. Fingernail, yep.
a way of lightening the mood in the examination. So he's seen a lot of fingernails. And he looked at hers, and hers were not 3 inches. There were allegations, and you've heard little bits of it, that Cardi supposedly got plaintiff fired. Actually, Dr. Finke said it was him.
Yep.
He told his administrator,
She
his
need to
practice
go.
administrator, that this was outrageous, and based on the conduct he saw, plaintiff had to go. Cardi did not make a complaint. Cardi is not the reason that plaintiff got fired. Plaintiff is the reason that plaintiff got fired. Our evidence also included plaintiff's February 24, 2018 incident report. Plaintiff was asked in discovery, and we read some of that to you, which are formal written requests for documents or information, sworn under oath by plaintiff in this case. We asked for documents relating to the incident, emails relating to the incident. She never produced her incident report. We had to subpoena it from LA. That's
another really bad fact for the plaintiff, is that she wrote this incident report 2 days after the incident, kind of explaining what happened in more contemporaneous terms, closer to the fact of when it happened. And that incident report was a lot more damaging to her than she likes to report now. Now she's got this big story how she was brutally and viciously assaulted by Cardi B. But the incident report, she admits that she herself stepped out of the elevator to confront Cardi B, and that she apologized for her conduct in the way she handled it. And guess what? She was fired based on that incident report, based on her admissions she made, as well as the doctor and the receptionist talking to building management. So, yeah, that incident report was very important to the facts of what actually happened on this day. Yet, when asked, can you provide us any documents, any contemporaneous reports of what happened, she just conveniently forgot about it, left it out, and then when asked about it in trial, because they had to go get it themselves. Cardi's team had to go get this report themselves somehow through subpoenaing, I guess, email records. And when they got it and they're like, why didn't you give this to us? She was like, oh, that was my work email. I didn't have access to it. Well, guess what? It was not her work email. It was her personal Gmail account. So just layers upon layers of deception that the plaintiff was trying to get away with to make sure this report was not discovered. Yet Cardi's team found it because they're good lawyers. That's what they paid the big bucks to do. They find the incident report and basically were able to hold it up to her face as she testified and point out all the inconsistencies between the report and and her testimony during the trial.
We got it. We didn't get it from her. She claimed it didn't exist. Once again, common sense. There's something wrong there. We had to serve a subpoena on Allied, who produced a copy of the incident report, and we relied on that incident report because of plaintiff's inconsistencies and admissions. Now, it contains a lot of her accusations, and we believe the evidence is...
My boy Macro Grams, welcome in. This is my loyal trooper. He's been here, I think, every day, or maybe you might have missed day 1, but since day 2, day 3, now we're on day 4. My trooper right there, Macro Grams. That's my guy, my dog.
Clear that they are false, but it also includes some interesting statements by plaintiff. And this is 2 days after the February 24, 2018 incident. Plaintiff, who testified, if you remember, that incident reports are very important. And she testified, and in the incident report, she told her supervisor that that Cardi had scratched plaintiff's nose. Not cheek, nose. 2 days after the incident, when she's blaming all of this on Cardi, which I think it's safe to assume that she was improperly doing so, given all the evidence we've heard. Plaintiff told her supervisor 2 days later, Cardi's, with 3-inch nails, the evidence is against that as well, scratched plaintiff's nose. Nothing about a cheek.
Yep.
And again, a nose is not a cheek. They're different.
Inconsistent.
This raises 2 points, really. Plaintiff's first statement that Cardi scratched her nose is directly contrary to plaintiff's sworn testimony here that Cardi scratched her cheek. Okay. So if we accept that, then the statement that she put in her report is clearly false.
Yep.
Because she's now saying, and she's been saying for a couple of years, no, it wasn't my nose, it was my cheek. Second, plaintiff admits that her nose was not scratched. So this is a very important document because it confirms that she made false statements about the incident. At a minimum, she made the false statement that Cardi had scratched her nose.
And you can't fully see it, but you can, I think, at least see money something else at gmail.com. So this was her personal email. This was not a work email like she originally claimed. This was her personal email that she was claiming she did not have access to anymore because it was a work email. So completely lying, completely misrepresenting. And there is an adage in the law that if you are caught misrepresenting one thing, then the jury can now take your entire testimony and throw it out. Now, granted, it's up to the jury whether or not they want to do that, but it's certainly they're well within their rights to do that, which this is a big deal.
This statement, this incident report that she said is very important, also apologized to Allied and the building owner, quote, for behaving the way I did. Okay?
Yep.
Why would she apologize to them if she was attacked? Why is it something that she would apologize for? Again, common sense. She was apologizing because of the way she was behaving. She's apologizing to them for her professional misconduct. She's apologizing to them for attacking a medical patient who's trying to go in for a medical exam.
Counsel, you can knock about 10 minutes.
Can I have a little bit of extra time? Does counsel got extra time?
I don't know that he did, but please figure out.
Okay. I'm going to do this a little bit faster, and I apologize. We also called Nicole McKenzie. Nicole McKenzie is an interesting person because she's a psychologist, a workers' comp psychologist.
Yeah, for $20 million, I would get my story straight. Yet one would think. Now, granted, they're claiming that, oh, we're not suing for $20 million. We just want like $100 a day for the next 2 years. You know, whatever. Let's see, $100 a day for 365 days. That would be what, $36,000 a year. So we just want like a reasonable amount of $72,000 for this, plus the medical expenses. So we just want $100,000. Like, come on, that's really not much at all. Yeah, but either way, we probably got the 20 million number from a settlement negotiation where that was probably the number they threw out. It's like, hey, we'll dismiss our lawsuit. We'll dismiss the complaint if Cardi pays us $24 million, which she just laughed. She just laughed at. It was like, okay, fine, we'll see you in court then.
And plaintiff called her too. It's baffling why he did, because all of her testimony only helped Cardi. First of all, no one called Dr. McKenzie as a psych witness. There were no psych witness questions. We called her because what plaintiff told Dr. McKenzie in April of 2018, just 2 months later, is directly contrary to what she's been saying.
This is another big factor. If you're going to allege $24 million of lifetime emotional damages, you need to call an expert to testify and establish that she has actually suffered these emotional damages. And the plaintiff did not call any expert to testify to that. The only expert that was called, they called the plastic surgeon, and then there was a psychologist that was called, but there was no establishing of these lifelong emotional damages on that front. And then the defense ended up calling their own expert witness, a psychiatrist, who did establish that, or did go through the emotional damages, and said that the likelihood of this happening, assuming she actually did have PTSD, was 2 in 1 billion, which... Yeah, so either she's truly a once in a, not even once in a million, once in a billion type case, or she's just making it up. And it's up to the jury to decide for themselves which is the more likely explanation here.
Ms. McKenna testified that let me rephrase this because I'm trying to cut some of this out. Ms. McKenzie, who you may remember, testified in this case that everything that she was saying was what plaintiff had told her. And she testified that when Dr. McKenzie did the evaluation, plaintiff made no mention of being scratched, cut, or even touched by Cardi. She actually said Cardi, quote, almost, close quote, touched her. Almost is not touching.
Yep.
Plaintiff has offered no explanation as to why she told Dr. McKenzie Cardi almost touched her. Ms. McKenzie also testified that in doing her evaluation, she would note any physical symptoms. And she confirmed that plaintiff identified no physical symptoms 2 months after she supposedly got cut in this incident.
Yeah, that's the thing. This psychologist that testified, she gave no expert medical opinion on whether or not plaintiff here actually suffered any emotional injury. The only emotional damages she talked about was what the plaintiff reported to her, like, I feel depressed, I feel like I don't want to go out, I feel like I'm sad and have traumatized and have PTSD. Like, she didn't actually do her own assessments and testing to figure out whether or not this is actually real, or whether any of it was real. And also, like the lawyer's saying right now, the plaintiff's lawyer, or the psychologist, did not know any sort of physical injury that happened or was related to the emotional injury that was being discussed. So, and that's kind of relevant if you're going to talk about, we're talking about, she's making it sound like I was scarred and deformed. That's why I need $20 million, because I'm just so ugly and hideous and my life is just ruined because of my deformity on my face. But it's like, you're saying that none of that came up with the psychologist at all? Yeah, you would think. I would have totally expected the plaintiff to call an expert witness like the defense called to actually give an expert medical opinion about the extent of the emotional injury. But no, there was nothing of the sort. Like, plaintiff's case is just completely, it's completely in shambles.
In response to one or more of the jurors' questions, the judge elicited the response from Dr. McKenzie that it was her standard practice that even if someone came to her just for a psychological examination, that she would also note any physical symptoms that were reported, and also that if she saw the patient and saw if they got a cut or a scrape or a bruise or whatever, she'd note that as well in the report, and none of that was noted because none of it existed. We also asked plaintiff about her Kaiser medical records. At this point, I'll just mention that she testified and admitted that out of 161 pages of medical records over 2 years, there was no mention of any cuts, scratches, anxiety, PTSD, or anything else. Counsel noted that we called Dr. Rosenberg, who is a lifetime board-certified medical doctor who specializes in psychiatry. He has impeccable credentials and decades of experience. He, by the way, does not work on a lien basis. He does not work, we paid him, he does not work on a lien basis, so he doesn't have the same incentive that Dr. Mulligan has to spin his story. Dr. Rosenberg wasn't asked to diagnose any psychiatric conditions that plaintiff has. So in his report, he specifically said no diagnosis. But he did come to conclusions, which is different than a diagnosis. And what he did was he had a 6-hour recorded interview of her, and he had her take a gold standard test of 335 questions.
Yep.
And what he learned from the test was that she claimed symptoms, different symptoms, and so many symptoms, that only 2 out of 1 billion people in the world have those symptoms.
Hey, who just said that? Hey, it's almost like I actually watched the whole trial too, and giving you the most informed, high IQ, big brain. This is 1,000 IQ takes you're getting on this channel.
He also testified that there were inconsistencies with her story. We talked about the McKenzie analysis, in fact, that the plaintiff didn't mention any problems or physical injuries to Dr. McKenzie. We've talked about the initial incident report, which says a scratch on the nose, but not a scratch on the. So with all these different inconsistencies, that went into his analysis as well. Now, he also considered that in the Kaiser medical records, there's no indication of any of those injuries. And counsel, for some reason, focuses on vaginal discharge to say, well, if you're going for that, you're not going to mention a cut or scrape. But that's not what Dr. Rosenberg testified to. He testified that in April 2022, plaintiff went into Kaiser for a complete history and physical, and plaintiff specifically, in questioning, denied any kind of mental health issues, including anxiety or sleep problems. In April 2023, she went in again, and for hand pain that time, and she was specifically asked, Dr. Rosenberg said that's what Kaiser does. They ask you about everything, just noted in the record. And she was asked, but again, reported no emotional problems and did not request mental health assistance. I should also mention this claim about PTSD. Dr. Rosenberg testified that you can't, quote unquote, an argument or an unpleasant interpersonal interaction isn't a trauma and can't lead to PTSD. The claim of PTSD is frankly an offense to those people who actually have it. She had a 45-second argument. She was fired. That is not what gives you post-traumatic stress syndrome. And we know that because we've heard it from a licensed psychiatrist who did all those tests and interviewed her for 6 hours. I should
Great point. Great point.
mention that Dr. Mulliken is a plastic surgeon. He's not a psychiatrist. So Dr. Mulliken couldn't and didn't rebut Dr. Rosenberg's conclusion that plaintiff is feigning. Counsel said, well, why didn't the defendants call a plastic surgeon expert? Because we don't see a scar. You could call someone to say, can you examine this person? Do they have a scar? You can look at the photograph. Why would we call a plastic surgeon? Conversely, though, they want to prove that plaintiff had psychological injuries. Why didn't they call a psychiatrist?
Yep, exactly what I just
Let's talk a
said.
little bit about plaintiff's shifting stories.
That's right. Sub me in, coach. Get me in. I could have tried this case.
First of all, plaintiff alleges that Cardi spit on her. It's a disgusting allegation, of course, and I hate to even mention it. And everyone else says it didn't happen. But for her part, plaintiff also hasn't gotten her story straight. If you remember, last Monday she testified in her February 26, 2018 incident report. Plaintiff told her supervisor that Cardi spit on her before people came out of the doctor's office. But at her deposition, plaintiff testified that Cardi spit on her after they came out. She can't get her story straight.
Yep.
That's that simple. Counsel has referred to spittle. And so what he's basically backed off of is initially it was terrible spitting at her client. Now it's, well, maybe it was an accidental spittle. Say it, don't spray it kind of thing from junior high school. There's no evidence that happened, but it's also not an assault. It's also, when you look at the jury instructions, you'll see that an assault requires intentional conduct, intentional battery.
Yeah.
Accidentally, spraying a little bit of spittle when you're arguing, that is not an assault, and there's no evidence that it even happened.
Doesn't count. That face says it all. The face of defeat, just sitting, listening to your case get ripped apart piece by piece. But I don't feel bad. This guy's been completely out of bounds the entire trial, doing stuff intentionally. He says it's not intentional, but my read of it, completely intentionally against the rules of evidence, against the orders that the judge is giving. The judge has had to instruct him throughout the trial on the questions he's supposed to ask and how he's supposed to phrase questions, because he keeps getting objected to, and the judge has to keep sustaining it, and the judge is getting so sick and tired of sustaining objections against him, he's literally telling him, how about you ask this question? Like, yeah, I've been seeing on Twitter, it's the Temu lawyer, the bargain bin lawyer from Walmart.
Plaintiff also is strikingly inconsistent regarding her claim that Cardi touched her. We'll go through this quickly. We talked about in the February 26, 2018 incident report, supposedly Cardi scratched plaintiff's nose. In April of 2018, plaintiff told Dr. McKenzie that Cardi almost touched her. In sworn responses in discovery in this case, plaintiff stated under oath that Cardi viciously beat plaintiff about the head, face, and body. You haven't heard that, in this room. No one said that occurred. In her deposition, plaintiff stated under oath that Cardi struck her on her nose and cheek, and plaintiff acted out Cardi jabbing plaintiff's face with an outstretched index finger, which is directly contrary to, and you saw that videotape of that, directly contrary to what Dr. Mulliken testified he thought happened.
Objection, Your Honor. We're going back over an hour now.
What's your objection?
That we agreed to 1 hour.
Okay, counsel, what's your evidence?
Can I have 3 minutes?
Just wrap up.
Okay. I'm sorry, there's more to talk about, but I've got to go. Ultimately, this case comes down to what happened in a minute in a medical building hallway. And to believe plaintiff, you would have to disbelieve Cardi, you would have to disbelieve Ms. Malcolm, you would have to disbelieve Dr. Finke, and you would have to ignore all of plaintiff's contradictory statements, including whether she had a cell phone, whether she had an earpiece, all that stuff. This is not a difficult case. It is not a closed case. Plaintiff has the burden of proof, and the evidence is overwhelming in Cardi's favor. Plaintiff has not met her burden of proof. And plaintiff's demand for whether it's the $24 million that was testified to at trial or the $250,000 plus that you heard today makes no sense. She suffered no injury. Cardi did not do anything wrong except try to protect her baby and get to a doctor. The court will provide you with a verdict form, and we urge you that the evidence and common sense require that you answer questions 1 to 2 is no. That will skip you over to Section B. We ask that you answer question 5, no. That will skip you over to Section C. We ask that you answer question 8, no, which will skip you to Section D. We ask that you answer question 12, no, which is then the end of the verdict, and you can have the foreperson sign it. I also want to note that for each of these questions, as the judge previously told you, 9 people do not have to agree. You can have 9 people agree on one, a different group of 9 people on another. And we ultimately, we thank you for your time, for your consideration, and you know how we wish you roll. So, thank you.
All right, and folks, as we indicated, plaintiff gets the first and last word, so time for a rebuttal case for plaintiff.
Oh boy.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming back. So this is end of the road now. I said a lot of things this morning, and I basically don't want to repeat all of it.
Real quick, just on what he was saying, quick point on the verdict sheet, how he's saying vote no on these 2, and then it's skipping over. Basically, what's skipping over is talk of the damages, because if you vote no, then you don't have to give an answer or vote on what you're going to award as far as damages go. And that's why I think the deliberations here will be quick, because I think the jury's going to vote no on everything, and therefore there's going to be no need to suss out and figure out what the damages are going to be. If they're voting yes on any of them, and then that means they got to figure out, okay, what damages are we going to award? That's where these verdicts can take a long time to come back, because they need to actually figure out, okay, how do you actually quantify in a dollar amount a lifelong penalty of PTSD or emotional distress and emotional injury? How do you put a dollar amount on that? So that's basically what would have to be done. If there was any yes votes, I think it's going to be no votes on each answer, which is why it's like vote no on 1 and 2, and that'll skip you over 3 and 4, because you don't have to worry about damages now. Gets you to 5. Vote no, that skips you to number 8. Yeah, that's kind of the explanation for that. But oh boy, all right, our last chance to hear from Bargain Bin Timu lawyer. Let's see if maybe he can bring it home. Maybe he was a front the whole time. Famous for undersell, over deliver. He's been underselling the whole trial. Now he's going to hit a home run in his last statement. He's going to over deliver and bring it home. I'm not confident that's about to happen, but you never know. I've seen crazier things happen.
The main point that I want to highlight, which what counsel has brought up, is the incident report. In the incident report, Ms. Imani Ellis tells her supervisor that the defendant put her fingernail into her face. You will see that. Into her face and scratched her nose. She caused damage to her face. It was a physical contact. As far as the spitting, I never brought up the word spittle. I don't know what that exactly means, but in either event, Imani Ellis, who was there, who was a witness to this incident, testified that the defendant spit on her, actually spit on her, which is an assault and a battery. Everybody gets an attorney. Everyone gets to have an attorney. Even Cardi B gets to have an attorney. All of these comments and all of these things are smoke and mirrors to hide up the truth.
Oh.
Bottom line is
it now?
Miss Imani Ellis, who was there, testified multiple times. She never did anything wrong in her life. She was a model citizen, good person, and she basically was doing her job as a security guard, and the defendant refused to cooperate, caused a disturbance, physically assaulted and battered her, spit on her, took a swing at her, and ultimately a couple of witnesses came after the fact, and they were not witnesses to the entire incident. The entire incident really took place between Imani Ellis and Cardi B, and it really is going to come down to who do you believe? Who do you believe? Are you going to believe Imani Ellis, who was a security guard, who did her job, who was there, who never had any problems of any kind? Or are you going to listen to somebody who's yelling and screaming, has anger management problems?
Objection.
Got angry on that day. There's no question. She admitted it. She said she was angry. She got angry. She attacked the plaintiff.
When I tell you, it is so hard to get an objection sustained against you for closing, yet he manages to do it. He manages to say things like, Cardi B has anger management issues. Like, that's so far out of bounds for what is appropriate for a closing argument.
She spit on her. She used the N-word, disrespectful. She took a swing at her. She did everything possible to cause her so much emotional anguish and try to get a reaction out of her. I don't know how it was that Imani Ellis was able to contain herself. Maybe because she is so peaceful. You heard lots and lots of testimony about how she was peaceful. The issue
testimony from her mother and her grandmother.
Dr. Mullican, at some point I did ask Dr. Mullican, could this scratch, could this cut have been done by someone who's left-handed or right-handed? At the end, he was very clear. You can ask the testimony to be read back to you. He said it could be done by either a right-handed person or a left-handed person, either one. And when we had Cardi B on the stand, she said she was disabled because she was pregnant, but at the end of the day, she wasn't disabled with her hands, and you can cut someone with either hand, both hands. Go to the bench press, both hands. Anything can happen with both hands. This is not somebody who was taking a swing with a basket, in baseball, you must use the correct, no. This injury could happen with the right hand or left hand, and Dr. Melka clarified that and said it could happen with either hand.
Yeah, no one's disputing that, though.
The evidence that needs to be brought forth needs to be proven by a preponderance of the evidence. We don't have to prove 100%. We have to prove featherweight more than 50%. In this case, we have given you so much different evidence from different people, which was Imani Ellis, her grandmother, her mother, and all of the medical records. We have a plastic surgeon who came here and explained everything. You now have the case before you where you can now determine what you feel Imani Ellis should receive to make her whole. And counsel brought up some points to try to maybe muddy the waters in a sense and try to change what really happened here. At the end of the day, we have overwhelming evidence that Imani Ellis was assaulted and battered, and we thank you for your service.
All right, thank you, counsel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentation of evidence and argument. You're now going to be shown to the...
This is Madness. First time watcher, enjoy your commentary, agree with you. Appreciate it, Mary. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, we're gonna be live until we get a verdict.
Jury room. We do have a hard stop at 4:30. And by no means would I suggest that you should try and rush to be done by then. You do need to deliberate and consider all of the evidence before answering the questions on the jury form. And so if indeed it takes you longer than 4:30 today, then we will need to come back tomorrow. If you want to take a break, you can take a break, but you all need to be back together in the jury room. So please do not deliberate until all of you are back together. To the extent that we do come back tomorrow, if you want to bring snacks or anything like that, that's fine. We can discuss that a little bit later. But for now, can I have Cynthia swear in Vanessa, please?
Yeah. All right.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will take charge of the jury and keep them together, that you will not communicate with them yourself, nor allow anyone else to communicate with them upon matters connected with the case, except on order of the court, and when they have agreed upon a verdict, you will return them into the court, so help you God?
I do.
And do you solemnly swear that you will take charge of the alternate juror and keep her apart from the jury while they deliberate on the cause
Never seen this before.
by the court, so help you God?
I do.
May I please have you state your first and last name for the record?
Vanessa Garcia?
Thank you.
Vanessa?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk to the alternate before she goes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically it. I know we're a little behind. Let's see if we get any more
Some personal items, and we're going to go ahead and head into
judge commentary.
Thank you.
Outside the presence of the jury, we do have the alternate number 1 here. Ma'am, on Wednesday, did you have any conversations with any of the witnesses?
Uh-oh.
Were you sitting? Yeah, you. Yes. Were you outside? Did you sit next to the plaintiff's grandmother on Wednesday?
Is he talking to the juror, or the alternate juror, or just someone in the gallery?
The grandmother?
Correct.
I can't remember, but I did sit once, at least once.
Did you have a conversation with her?
I don't remember what I said if I did.
Okay, so she didn't say anything.
So you
I didn't
did.
say anything about this.
Nothing about the trial.
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, very good.
Not at all.
Vanessa's
Not
going to
on
excuse you to the jury room. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Huh. Okay.
Thank you.
And then I'll take the...
Had some kind of conversation. May have been innocent. I just wanted to rule out an improper contact. If you could please either stay close or give a cell phone number to Cynthia. You just please stay within a couple minutes in case we get any questions from the jury or if we get a verdict.
Your Honor,
Yes.
So I do want to put something on the record, but not about counsel.
Okay.
I think it's important. I think this court has a duty to handle the situation, which is what happened. During the lunch hour, Cardi B went outside and threw something at one of the news reporters. I have it on video. She's been staring at my clients, all 3 of them, trying to intimidate them. I think it's unfair, and it's they feel scared. They feel scared about what she may do to them because of what she did to that court reporter, which I have on video.
To the court reporter?
I'm sorry, to one of the news reporters. She threw an item at the news reporter, physically, in front of this courthouse, on court property, outside this courtroom. So I would ask that she be admonished and be told not to handle herself in this way and not to look at my clients anymore.
All right.
We do have video of this. Let's examine.
Yes, Cardi. What's the verdict? Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
Cardi, your court.
Offset
hold
is
up.
publicly bragging
Instant
about
replay.
getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
Cardi, your court look is amazing. Who are
You're
you
amazing,
wearing?
Cardi. I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at
I
me.
don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me? Do you see women asking those questions to me?
I mean,
Why do you feel as a man you get to ask me those type of questions?
justified?
Act like you have some manners. And your mama taught you, respect women.
So okay, there's the incident in question here. That's what the counsel is bringing up.
So the court can't make any orders for conduct that the court didn't witness.
I can show the court the video.
Well, I still haven't witnessed it. To the extent I think it appropriate that the parties be courteous to each other. I don't think it's appropriate for anyone to be either threatening anyone or even by way of staring at someone. People can take offense to that. So please continue that courteously with each other.
Can I just add one thing?
Sure.
I've been sitting here throughout the whole trial. Plaintiff has never looked this way, so I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay.
Second, plaintiff is halfway between Cardi and the jury box and the witness. I have never seen Cardi do anything else other than watch. Sometimes he, in response to a witness, may like wonder like what. But I have not seen anything that plaintiff's counsel is claiming.
Okay. All right. And we do have extra security here just in case there's any kind of issue. All right. All right. Stay close.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah. Should be a quick verdict. I agree. But quick is a relative term. Now let's get this fully caught up. So when we do hear, yeah, we're back live now. Yeah. When we do hear, we'll be able to hear it and be able to watch it live. But yeah, certainly that video is not good as far as just showing kind of Cardi does have a bit of a temper. Now, granted, we all heard the question, and the guy was okay with it. He's like, "I still love you, even though you just threw something at me." But I mean, it's just news to anybody. I think we all kind of understand this is Cardi B. She's a boisterous individual, and yeah, but certainly not a good look. Now, granted, the jury didn't see it, so it's not like this is going to affect the trial in any way. But and I don't necessarily well, actually, no, I guess I don't fault the lawyer for bringing it up. The plaintiff's lawyer, he does. If his client feels some type of way and says like, "Hey, she's been staring at me. I feel threatened." Yeah, you probably just because at this point, he's just trying to save face with his client, honestly. And even if he thinks she's being ridiculous, just to at least relay her concerns to the court, so she feels like he's doing the job that she hired him to do. So I'm not necessarily mad at him for bringing it up. There is a question of relevance of like, okay, is this really relevant? Does this really affect the trial here? And now he's trying to make this big stink about dignification and we need to be dignified in these proceedings. And but then it's like, but then hold up, let me pull up a moment from the from day 3's testimony. And here's what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to minimize this so that way it's still live. We can still see it, and more importantly, we can hear it. So boom, that takes care of that. And then from here, let's do this. Oops. And go here. But yeah. Okay, 3. It's like, I don't know how you're going to make such a big fuss about the dignity of the proceedings when we get to day 3, and this is the kind of stuff that you're doing.
Several times, so it's asking.
Let's see if I can get to it. It was during her testimony. Y'all will see exactly why I'm bringing this up when I get there. When it gets there.
Was facing Miss Ellis. I'm assuming it was. Well, let me ask you that. Was the cell phone that you're talking
When there,
on the
not a
police officer? If she was recording,
definitely matter.
Let's not talk over each other.
do you own the building? Do you agree that you were a guest when it's
An answer, we covered this yesterday.
The disturbing.
a verbal fight, isn't it? It's a verbal fight. You had a fight, didn't you?
Yes.
What other words did you use? Tell us in
Okay.
your own words what you said.
Yeah, everyone watch this clip and then judge the plaintiff's lawyer who's asking her these questions. Judge his righteous indignation about Cardi's conduct when this is the kind of way he's acting in court.
I said, bitch, get the fuck out my face. Why are you in my face? Why are you recording me? Ain't you supposed to be security?
Tell it to
Why?
her now. Go ahead.
Huh?
Say it again. Say it.
Objection, Your Honor.
You want me to say it to
I
her
want
face?
you to tell it to her face what you said on that day so she can hear it for
The
herself
objection
again.
is sustained.
And, Your Honor, do we have civility in the
Yeah.
courthouse?
Why don't we just take the temperature down a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, when that's how you're acting, you're like, I want you to say it to my client's face what you said on that day. Like, he's just been engaged in the most ridiculous shenanigans throughout the entire trial. And yeah, now he wants to make a stink about civility. Oh, she threw a pen at a reporter. It's, yeah, like, get out of here, man. It's just stupid. But anyway. Yeah, so I guess we're hanging out. Let me pull up X. Let's see what the Twitters are saying. While we're here, I see we got 20 people live right now, I think. So awesome. No, appreciate all y'all for being here, and this is definitely an interesting case to be following, to be interested in. So yeah, that was very disrespectful for the YouTuber to ask that question, especially when everyone knows Cardi and Offset are going through a divorce from Carla. Yeah, no, exactly right. And she, she told him about himself on the spot right there. Let me do this, Cardi B. She told him about himself for, that's disrespectful to ask that, and especially the way he framed it, like, is this going to cause any trouble between you and Stephon Diggs? Yeah, he was definitely out of line for that, and even her throwing the pen. Let's get the action, instant replay.
Yeah. Yes, Cardi. What's the verdict? Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect
Like,
me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
I love the guy too. I got another marker, Cardi.
Bragging about
Watch
getting
again,
you
one more
pregnant
time,
for the
one more
4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Because, okay, pen in the hand, and look, as we established in the trial, left-handed. So left-handed, up in the air, and it hits this. Like, come on.
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
Cardi, your court look is amazing.
And then the other one, Cardi, your court look is amazing. Yeah, but yeah, that guy was definitely out of line for that. And yeah, her comments were pretty reasonable, all things considered. But yeah. So anyway, as of now, like I said, we're still just waiting for the verdict. Quick talk on verdicts. Basically, like I said, I think it's going to be not liable on all the counts. I think that's easy. The question on timing, how long it's going to take for them to get there. She threw the pen on the ground. Basically, yeah, it was more of a downward angle more than anything. Hold up. Action replay one more time.
Publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect
Yeah.
me.
I got another marker, Cardi.
Cardi, your court look is amazing. Who are
You're
you
amazing,
wearing?
Cardi. I still love you even though you just threw some stuff at
I
me.
don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me? Do you see women asking those questions to me?
It's legit.
Why do you feel as a man you get to ask me those type of questions? Act like you have some manners. and your mama taught you. Respect women.
Period. Go Queen. But she's right. No, she's right. Yeah. So, judge doesn't care because didn't witness it. Yeah. But yeah, so verdict. I think it'll be a quick verdict, but quick is a very relative term here. For reference, the fastest verdict I've ever seen in my practice is about 10-15 minutes. I don't think it's going to be that quick here. What I actually believe, so when did they go back? I think they went back to deliberate about here. So say 20 minutes ago they went back. Let's see, it's 6:10 p.m. my time. So 5:50 p.m. my time, 3-hour difference, 2:50 p.m. Pacific time. And the judge said they've got a hard stop at 4:30. So they went back, basically, let's just call it 3 o'clock. They go back 3 o'clock, hard stop at 4:30. The 5 o'clock incentive, as I call it, the 5 o'clock incentive is a strong incentive, meaning to get done your verdict before 5 o'clock. It's a very strong incentive because if you don't get it done by then y'all know what that means. You got to come back the next day. And if you get to a point where it's like everyone's largely in agreement, there might just be some small details that they are not in agreement on. That can definitely sway some jurors to change their vote to be in alignment with the rest of the jury once you're pushing up against the 5 o'clock deadline. Because if you don't reach the verdict, and say you're deliberating and the vote right now, say I think there's 9 jurors in this case. So let's say the vote is 7-2 or 8-1 and for not liable. And you got one juror who's like, oh, I don't know. I think Cardi kind of, I've seen her on Love and Hip Hop, and I know how she moves. I know she likes to get to fighting. So that juror is kind of a holdout right now. Does that juror really want to be the reason they've got to come back and continue their deliberations the following day? Now, granted, maybe this is not a factor here. It's not a consideration because it is such a high-profile case, and really, juries can do so many different things. Like, jurors can have so many individual crazy thoughts. You could literally have a juror here that wants to come back tomorrow because they want to see what Cardi B is going to wear on day 5. Like, they want to see her fashion choices and get all the because that's like she's like a fashionista, fashion consumer, and really loves seeing Cardi B's outfits and wants to see what she's going to wear another day. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's that's an example of something crazy that could happen. So, do I think it'll happen? No, I think we're going to get a verdict today. Because right now, let's say we're 20 minutes in. I should get a timer going. Does Google have a timer? Stopwatch. Here we go. All right. So whatever, we're going to add 20 minutes to whatever the amount is here when we do get a verdict. So, yeah. But like I keep saying, I think this case is a clear, easy example of not liable. And that's largely just because the plaintiff's case was just so poor, so badly put together. The burden of proof is on them to prove the injuries that happened. And they alleged 2 different injuries. They alleged there was a scar to the face, like this, and that there was emotional damage, emotional injury. Only problem is the evidence for the damage to the face was like one singular photograph, which, keep in mind, this happened in 2018. And she did not get the plastic surgery until 2022. And that's where this photo came from the plastic surgeon. So you're talking about 4 years of time where she's walking around with supposedly a scar on her face and no pictures, no selfies, no Instagram posts, no family photos, nothing that shows any sort of marking or scar on her face. They've got one photo from the plastic surgeon in 2022, but it shows basically nothing. Maybe we can find the photo. I've been on the jury before. I think they'll go in and take a vote first, fill out paperwork, and they are done. Yeah, that's usually what happens with the jury is they go take an initial vote, like first thing when you get back, just to kind of see where everybody's at. I've been on a jury once before too, and it was actually one of the things that helped inspire me to become a lawyer and go to law school and do all that good stuff. And yeah, that's the first thing we did. And my jury, where it was 12 of us, we were 10-2 voting guilty on this guy. It was a federal case, actually. 10-2 was our initial vote. And I'll tell y'all what, the 5 o'clock deadline, the 5 o'clock incentive was real strong in that one. And getting those two holdouts to switch their votes to guilty. And even, it's not like they truly believed the guy was not guilty, and then they just switched to please us. Like, no, after talking it through, they were like, yeah, one guy actually, his main objection was just, y'all realize like when we do this, like this guy, the rest of his life is going to get ruined. It's like, yeah, but also that's why he shouldn't have been talking inappropriately to minors online, such that the FBI was able to find him and set up a sting operation. So basically a real life To Catch Predator stuff. So it's like, yeah, it is going to change his life, but that's his fault for doing what he did. So yeah, that was a big incentive to get that done. Although every time I click over here, it makes this go away. There we go. Can I do this? Cool. And now that goes back. Okay. Yeah. So even if they were unanimous on the vote right out of the gate, I could still see them saying like, okay, yeah, we're unanimous, but like, let's talk it through real quick. Let's make sure we're doing our due diligence, talk through the evidence, maybe have everyone giving it a little explanation as to why they are voting the way they vote. But either way, yeah, I think it'll be a quick one, but my guess, I think we'll be getting right up close to that 4:30 hard stop. So maybe like 4 o'clock, 4:15 Pacific time, which would maybe make it like 7 o'clock our time here. So maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, I think. So we're just going to be hanging out. You know, this is the verdict. We are on live verdict watch. I'm glad I was able to get caught up and be here for this. Basically, yeah, for those of y'all that are here live that have been watching, y'all know that just took the last 3 days to get caught up on all the testimony. We watched all of it here. I live streamed all of it. And specifically to get it done, to be here right now, to be able to talk about the case and watch the verdict live and celebrate Cardi's victory together, which I'll be honest, going into this case, my feeling, just knowing Cardi B, knowing a little bit about her, was, yeah, she probably did it. She probably did what she was accused of doing. But after getting after hearing the evidence that the plaintiff had, i.e. the lack of evidence, and just the antics that the plaintiff's lawyer was getting up to the entire trial, I don't know that I've ever seen someone get objected to so many times and have the objection sustained so many times than this plaintiff's lawyer here. It's just insane. Yeah. All right, let me pin this comment. But anyway, since we are a little higher, I'm showing 19 viewers right now, which is awesome. Love to see it. Love to see y'all here. If you're new here, then if you're so inclined to drop a like down below, help spread the word, and or subscribe. Basically, kind of develop the biggest chunk of my following here, covering the Tory Lanez case, Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion assault case. And yeah, I've got quite a few followers based on that. But that case is basically over now. We're just waiting on the appeal verdict, or the verdict from the appellate court as to whether or not that conviction is getting overturned, if there's going to be a new trial ordered on that. So in the meantime, I've been looking for new cases, and this was a perfect Sippy M with the wave. What is up? Thank you for being here. Yeah, basically looking for new cases to cover in a similar vein, just covering these high-profile celebrity cases, and who better than our girl, Cardi B. And especially with such a short trial, only 3 days of testimony, because I'll be honest, I really don't have a lot of time to be doing YouTube stuff these days. I used to be prosecutor. For my new folks here, I used to be prosecutor, district attorney. Now I work in private practice doing civil and criminal litigation. So defense attorney, civil. On the civil side, I do both. I do plaintiff or defense, really. Whoever hires me first, I guess. But yeah, so I'm used to seeing, I see everything. I see everything, and I use the skills of being in court all day, every day for my entire legal career, basically. use that to break down these cases. But yeah, now that I'm in private practice, man, it's just crazy. The workload is more, the hours are more, but it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I get to see a lot of different stuff: civil, criminal, property, contracts, torts, civil procedure, some criminal law, some constitutional law. It's cool stuff. It's fun. But I wanted to make sure, I left work early today just so I could get home and be live with all of you good people and waiting for this verdict. So yeah, if you're new here though, and you want to see or like this kind of content of getting a real lawyer talking about real life cases and breaking them down, pulling the curtain back, letting y'all know what's really going on with them, then be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and most importantly, when you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because that way you'll get notified anytime I go live, because I don't really have a set live schedule. It's just as things happen. Like, my plan is to just do live once a week and just kind of cover the legal news for the week. But for this case, it's like, okay, I went live 3 days in a row basically to get caught up with the testimony here. And so yeah, my plan after today's stream is the next stream will be next Sunday. But in case I do go live at some sort of irregular time, best way to find out about that is to subscribe with the notification bell, because that way it'll notify you, or to go over, follow me on X account at the Gen Z Attorney. Well, you all see it here. I've got it pulled up because I always post when I'm here. Always post when I go live and whatnot. So with the occasional pop culture hot take, because sorry, he got old. That's basically it. Yeah. So Mary, did you enjoy being a prosecutor? Yes. Being a prosecutor, it's definitely got its perks. A lot of stuff that was really fun about it. It's got its drawbacks too. Certainly not gonna pretend it does not have drawbacks. But the fun part was the fact I got to be in court like pretty much every single day. And so in the 2 years that I was prosecutor, I did probably close to 100 trials. So there's no other way to get that kind of experience than to be a prosecutor. So it's great starting career for a new law student or a newly graduated lawyer. So I got a lot of good experience that way. But also too, honestly, the best part of it, and this is what people get wrong, I think, about prosecutors, and just kind of lumping in prosecutors with, the system, police, corrupt cops, trying to oppress people and whatnot. And certainly, prosecutors are part of the system, but my experience with it was actually for the people who really want to help people. You think, if you want to help people, become a defense attorney. My experience, no, you can do a lot. Actually, arguably, you can do more help for people being a prosecutor, because first off, you get the cases that are the actual big cases with real victims. Thinking of I don't even know what I'm allowed to say on YouTube without getting demonetized, but let's say inappropriate crimes involving children, stuff like that. It's or murder. How about that? And it's okay, this is a real crime. The evidence is overwhelming as far as DNA. Usually we get stuff on video these days. It's crazy how much stuff we get on video now. So you get to prosecute the real bad guys and put them in jail. But then also too, you have a lot of discretion. Prosecutorial discretion is a very broad power. And so what better way than helping someone who is innocent than, instead of proving them innocent through a trial, why not just, that's one way of doing it. But what's the easier and better way to do it? Have the prosecutor drop the case before you even get to trial, because the prosecutor realizes the evidence is insufficient. So prosecutors, that's the best case to win as a defense attorney, is the one that never gets brought. And so a lot of my prosecutor friends, really some genuinely really good people that are trying to help people, trying to help victims and whatnot, but also too recognize people's situations and not just throw the book at people for the sake of it, but to actually be understanding and empathetic and understand where they're coming from, and try and fashion a solution. Is this person really just a terrible, horrible, bad person? Or they just hit a rough patch, and maybe the answer is not throw them in jail, but get them enrolled in a substance abuse assessment treatment program. So stuff like that. And so being a prosecutor has a lot of leeway in that and helping people. And there are plenty of cases that I dismissed as a prosecutor because I was first, I think the evidence is insufficient, but even if it was, is it really in the interest of justice to pursue and prosecute this person? Like I had a mom one time who her kids were just complete nightmare delinquent children that were constantly getting in trouble, and she just had no supervision over them. Because she couldn't. She had no way to supervise because they would just leave the house and then they would be gone for 2 or 3 days and they'd get in trouble. They'd get, go rob stuff or go break stuff. And then one time, and she would always get called and she'd have to go pick them up. One time she just got fed up with it. I'm like, I'm sick of this. If they want to get in trouble, then they have to go deal with the consequences themselves. Well, the mom then ended up getting charged with contributing to the delinquency of a juvenile, which is Class 1 misdemeanor in North Carolina. You do 120 days in jail for that. That's the punishment. And that case hit my desk, and I looked at it, and I'm like, is this really the interest of justice to throw mom in jail because her kids are absolute nightmare delinquents that she has no control over, no authority over? They're going to do whatever they want to do. In fact, they probably want mom to get thrown in jail over their conduct because they just would think it's funny. Like, is that really what justice requires? Or is the necessity of justice here to just dismiss the case and just basically wish them the best of luck? Because we need to hold the kids accountable, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's no point holding mom accountable for the misconduct of her kids. And so, yeah, that's what I did. I just straight up dismissed the case because I'm like, I don't think this is fair. And so to have that level of authority to handle cases like that was the best part of being a prosecutor, for sure. Now, granted, there's a lot of good reasons to not be a prosecutor and go into private practice. And specifically, my favorite part of being a prosecutor was the victim cases, the ones where I got to advocate and represent victims who were victims of crimes. But that's only maybe like 15-20% of my cases, really. Now in private practice, every case I have is a victim case. Every case I have, I'm representing a client directly. I'm getting to know their story, and I'm representing them to try and get the best outcome for them and deliver justice for them. So it gets me fired up, gets me up in the morning, and it's really, really good. So sorry, that was pretty long-winded, but that was the answer to your question there, if I enjoyed being a prosecutor. And certainly if you have any questions about it, I'd be happy to answer them while we're hanging out waiting for the verdict up here. We just jumped up to 26 live viewers. So yeah, this is awesome. Well, welcome everybody. We're still just waiting for the verdict here. By my estimate, I've got a counter going. Basically add 20 minutes to this, and that's when the jury went back. 34 minutes so far of deliberations. So yeah. Do you ever get exhausted in court because you have been running through the evidence again and again and again? No, I wouldn't say so. Granted, yeah, you do need to know your case inside and out in order to effectively advocate in court, but not in my experience. I mean, I did have a district court trial, which district court in North Carolina is misdemeanors. And I had a district court trial for carrying concealed gun and cyber stalking. 2 different cases, but it was the same guy. And the cyber stalking arose out of how he felt he was treated during the traffic stop that led to the carry concealed gun charges. And that trial took literally 3 days to get through. So that was a drain. That was definitely draining, especially because, that could have been done in 1 day. But the defense lawyer in that one was just unreasonably objectionable and just objecting to so many different things and trying to get in so many different things. Honestly, she was kind of behaving like the plaintiff's lawyer in the Cardi B case that we just watched. Like, just trying to do stuff that's clearly improper and objectionable. And I was objecting to it to try and speed things along, but then I can only do so much. And then the judge wants to take us back in chambers and admonishes us of like, this trial is really taking longer than it needs to. I think we need to speed it up. It's like, I have been speeding it. I've been flying through my evidence as in a very expeditious manner. It's defense counsel who's been the one doing stupid objections to what I'm doing and getting overruled, and then trying to do stupid stuff on her end that I'm objecting to is getting sustained. So she's the problem here. But whatever. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I digress. So that was definitely exhausting. But no, I don't really get tired of it. Being in court, running through the same thing that I've already run through a bunch of times, because I guess I would liken it to like a sport. So I grew up playing basketball. I actually played in college, and it's the reason why it translated well to being a lawyer is when you're an athlete, a high level athlete, you the way you get good is by your repetitions, right? You get in the gym and you practice and you do repetitions over and over and over again, and you master your craft. And being a lawyer is basically the same thing. Is you get in the gym, get in the office, get your reps in as far as doing your research, repping the evidence. What are your strong facts? What are the facts you want to avoid? What answer do you have to get around a bad fact? So get those reps in, and then when the day comes, now the trial day is like game day, and the lights are on and people are watching, and you got a obligation and burden to perform, the pressure to perform well. But that's what I've done my whole life and just enjoyed doing that. So it was a natural transition for me into being a lawyer. And so I don't get tired at all doing it. Plus, if y'all can't tell from watching the streams here, I can be a bit of a yapper. So to get paid to yap is a good gig. Definitely cannot complain about it. But as in while you go through it before trial starts and you feel drowsy. As an add-on to that. No, I wouldn't say so. Granted, another lawyer joke. Lawyers are avid coffee drinkers, so I try and limit myself to maximum 2 cups a day, but really maybe no more than 1.5. Like kind of in the morning time, kind of throughout the morning, I might be sipping on maybe a half cup of coffee, but then I have my real main cup of coffee in the afternoon, specifically after lunch, because that's the real sleepy time is after lunch when you got a nice big lunch and you just definitely can get sleepy at that time. So that's when I have my coffee. I actually just set up my new coffee machine in the office today. Got an espresso machine. I tried it out and it was delicious. So happy with that. But anyway, so 25 people in here. Waiting on the verdict still. Let's see, 38 minutes because we're 18 plus 20. 38 minutes of deliberation so far. Still just waiting on it. And my prediction still officially, I'll keep reiterating for the new people coming in, is I think it's going to be I almost said not guilty. It's going to be not liable on all of the charges. I don't think Cardi B is going to get hit with any of them. I thought the plaintiff's case was just an absolute dumpster fire disaster, and barely any evidence to support either claim. And actually, Cardi B offered more evidence refuting it, which is not even her burden. It's not even her burden to refute and rebut the claim. Oh, verdict is in. Yashika Lee. Okay. I don't care what anyone says. Throwing anything because someone asks you a question is ridiculous. It's childish and unacceptable. I agree with that. I think it was, I think it was childish. Okay. But Yashika says verdict is in. So I guess if you don't mind sharing how you know that. But then again, this might cut back to the courtroom at any second. So that might refute that. But let's see. Well, we got it. We got it big. We waiting. I like to argue, but I don't know if I can handle the demands of handling someone's future being determined by my input. Yeah, that's the biggest. That is the biggest thing about being a lawyer is if you don't know your stuff, if you can't stand up to the pressure, then this could be someone's life. Like they could get thrown in jail for your mistakes. They could lose, like Cardi B. If her lawyers mishandled this case, then she's losing millions of dollars based on their mistakes. So, it's it is a lot of pressure, and a lot of people simply just can't handle it. But it's good if you can recognize that. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do some snooping on the X latest. Verdict expected in Cardi B trial. Let's see. Verdict in the Cardi B trial? Less than an hour? Still waiting. I'm just seeing people saying they think the verdict is in. But could be the verdict. Could just be a question from the jury. But would definitely not be surprised if we've got a verdict already. Indeed, indeed. Let's see, let's see. Let me get the other. I know there's 2 simultaneous live streams going on. Let me get the other one pulled up on my second screen just to see. Make sure we got both pulled up. Oh, okay, yeah. The other stream has got us. Okay. Boom, let's do that. Oh boy. And right on cue, the wife is texting me, asking me where I'm at. I gotta tell her, doing important things, babe. Streaming the verdict. Apparently, it just came in. So hopefully, almost done. So it's a volleyball game tonight. I help coach on the side, high school volleyball at the local high school, and have a lot of fun doing that. And they have a game tonight, but so I am foregoing that to be with you good people. Oops, hold up. Let's see. But yeah, definitely got some new faces in here though. Oh, let me change before I say anything else. Let me change my pinned comment. Thank you, ad. Verdict is in, question mark, comment, or comma, question mark, exclamation point. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think going into this, I really was expecting, I think, to find Cardi B liable for what she was accused of. Because, yeah, honestly, it sounded like her. And if we got nothing else from the pen incident outside the courthouse, she absolutely has a short fuse and will pop off on a second's notice. But, gosh, I gotta say, I'm just flabbergasted by how poor of a job the plaintiff's lawyer did in this case, and just the utter lack of evidence that was provided by the plaintiff regarding the physical injury and the emotional injury. Like, you had no expert opinion saying that yes, there has been an emotional injury sustained. You had a psychologist testify, but all they testified to was what the plaintiff self-reported on her initial intake. Like, you didn't have the psychologist offer any expert opinion on whether or not there's actually an emotional injury here. That's just ridiculous to me. So not only did the plaintiff not establish an emotional injury other than what she says, basically, because I say so, like, source, trust me, bro. Yeah, but did you not see the picture of her scar? LOL. I mean, let me see if I can pull it up, but that thing, you could barely see anything. Like, this was really the best picture you could pull. I'm not even able to really find a good picture. Agree about the attorney, and he seemed dishonest. Yeah, he was just wild. He was all over the place, I thought, for this entire trial. Let me do this. Trying to see if I can get a good picture of this, the picture of the scar that was shown. Because the testimony was last week, so all the posts about it are kind of gone by now, or kind of buried. Where is it? And I really want to show it because I want us all to look at it together. Pretty skimpy evidence. Offensive attorney, not amazing for plaintiff. Yeah, no. Not at all.
There's the main scar here.
There we go. Okay. So, shout out my girl T with Tia. Great X account, great Twitter account. Go follow my girl. When the doctor showed that, I was flabbergasted as to what I was supposed to see. Oh, you're saying, okay, see, I thought you were saying artist formerly known as BAP. I thought you were saying this is like, did you not see her scar? Like, as if it was a clear picture, but like here, we got it here. Here's the picture. Let's make sure we're still good. Okay, still good over there. Like, this is the only picture that was offered showing a scar. Like, literally, the only picture. And this was supposedly taken 4 years after it actually happened. So there was 4 years of time where you could have had any picture shown, a selfie, a video, a family photo, anything showing the plaintiff has a scar. Oh, I was being facetious. I see. Sorry. I thought you were being serious for a second, but no, I appreciate it. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, when Doctor showed that, I was flabbergasted what I was supposed to see. This is supposed to be like the selling point. And here's the thing too. So I just watched the whole trial. We're creeping up in the numbers here. We've got 34 people watching, so awesome. Love to see it. Wish y'all were here for the duration of the trial because I streamed the whole thing. But it's okay. We're here now for the most important part. And I make sure I got my sound on. So yeah, we can hear it when it comes through. So we definitely do have a verdict. We're just standing by for it. But the plaintiff's lawyer, he kept referencing a picture, but he hadn't offered the picture yet to show the jury. And I'm thinking, if you've got a picture, yeah, she'd also been in at least one car wreck. Yeah, she'd actually been in 2 car wrecks. I think one before this picture, but then one after as well. So, but yeah, so they kept referencing a picture, but then they kept not showing it. Like, this was the very last thing that this witness that they did with this witness was show this picture. And it was just so, like, I'm thinking, you've got a good picture of this. You can clearly see that there's like a scar there, a line there of some sort, and we're going to use that. And if I'm the plaintiff's lawyer and I have that picture, the first thing I'm doing with my witness, I'm getting this picture admitted as an exhibit, and I'm posting it up on the wall, and I'm having the jury just look at it the entire time. Because I want to give them a visual aid. Yeah, they can watch the testimony, watch the back and forth between me and the witness, but more importantly, if they ever kind of want to look at something while we're talking, their eyes are occupied. They can look and see the picture up on the wall like it is here. So the fact that the picture did not come in immediately, and there was kind of this sort of game he was playing with, like referring to the picture but not admitting it, and kept talking about what you're going to see in the picture. It's like, can we just see it already? Like, why are we doing this whole back and forth game? But then when you actually see the picture, it finally came in. I guess you can kind of figure out why he was playing this game and not showing it immediately. Because look, this is what we're dealing with.
And this entire area here shows differences in the skin, sort of a general area that's very different from the rest of the skin. And there's a little linear mark here, and there's another one over here. So those are the 3 marks that I was talking about. This is the main scar down the center, and this is another mark to the side. Here's another mark on this side.
Like, yeah. I don't know if y'all can see it. I think I can see a tiny little darker discoloration here that maybe it's just the light is making it bad so you can't see it. But I'm sorry, that's not my fault as the defendant, and that's not my obligation as a juror to make sure your photos are good and actually show what you're claiming that they show. So, yeah, that's your burden as the plaintiff, is to provide a picture where I can clearly see the injury that you're talking about. If you're going to make a big deal, like, you have a picture. And even then, even if we're assuming this is true, that there are in fact 3 vertical lines here, remember, the plaintiff testified on her direct exam that what Cardi B was doing was finger pointing, and it was while she was pointing her finger with the long nail, it was scratching her nose and then scratching her cheek. But if you've got a finger pointing directly at you that's hitting you, you would expect to see a scar go like this, right? It'd be like a horizontal scar. But we don't see anything horizontal here. We see vertical supposedly, if we're assuming this is the scar, this is a vertical scratch here. This is not, not horizontal like you would expect it, like it would be consistent with the testimony as it was given. So we should expect to see more like that. But yeah, so the fact that we're missing that is, I think, it just shows the evidence is completely inconsistent. Oh, it says they're back. Now where's the other one? Hold on, let me get the other one pulled up.
And causing Miss Ellis's harm.
Oh.
Answer, no.
Hold up. Dang it. Literally, I was on this one.
UB07031.
Okay. I was going to let it play from here. All right. Where are we? Boom. Okay, here we go.
Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles. Imani Ellis, plaintiff, versus Vocales Marlenes Almanzar. Cardi B, dose 1 through 50, inclusive defendant. Case number 20 STCV 07031. Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Section A, assault and battery. Question 1. Did plaintiff Imani Ellis prove all of the following elements of battery? 1. Defendant Vocales Marlenes Almanzar, Miss Almanzar, touch Miss Ellis in the intent to harm or offend Miss Ellis. Number 2, Miss Ellis did not consent to being touched. Number 3, Miss Ellis was harmed or offended by Miss Almanzar's conduct. And 4, a reasonable person in Miss Ellis' situation would have been offended by the touching. Answer, no.
Boom.
Question 2, did Miss Ellis prove all of the following elements of assault? Number 1, Miss Almanzar acted with the intent to cause harmful or offensive contact with Miss Ellis. Number 2, Miss Ellis reasonably believed that she was about to be touched in a harmful or an offensive manner. Number 3, Miss Ellis did not consent to Miss Almanzar's conduct. Number 4, Miss Ellis was harmed. And number 5, Miss Almanzar's conduct was a substantial factor in causing Miss Ellis's harm. Answer, no.
All right, not liable. 2 for 2.
Section B, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Question 5, did Miss Ellis prove all of the following elements of intentional infliction of emotional distress?
Nope.
1, Miss Almanzar engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct beyond mere insults, threats, indignities, annoyances, hurt feelings, or other trivialities that a reasonable person is expected to endure. 2, Miss Almanzar intended to cause Miss Ellis emotional distress. Number 3, Miss Ellis suffered severe emotional distress. And number 4, Miss Almanzar's extreme and outrageous conduct was a substantial factor in causing Miss Ellis to suffer severe emotional distress. Answer, no.
Nope. 0 for 3.
Section C, negligence and contributory negligence. Number 8,
Contributory?
Miss Ellis proved all of the following
That's not contributory, it's contributory. Sorry.
elements of negligence. Number 1, Miss Almanzar was negligent. Number 2, Miss Almanzar's negligence caused Miss Ellis to suffer physical harm rather than only emotional distress. And 3, Miss Almanzar's negligence was a substantial factor in causing Miss Ellis's harm. Answer, no.
0 for 4.
Section D, punitive damages. Question 12, did you answer question 4 and 7? Answer, no.
Nope.
Signed this date, September 2nd, 2025, by foreperson George Ulola, number 3.
All right, is it Mr. Chipoldry?
No. Yes, sir.
All right, let me ask the foreman, was it unanimous as to all the questions?
Yes.
All right, so the question that the clerk is going to be asking is, was it unanimous as to all questions?
He's going to ask each individual juror.
Question 1,
Or just all questions?
as to all questions?
Was it
Yes.
unanimous?
Was it unanimous?
Yes.
And we go through each of the jurors.
Yep.
It's unanimous.
This is called polling the jury. We're asking each individual juror, basically, is this your verdict? Usually the losing side will request this just to be absolutely positive. But yeah, they're all just gonna say, yes, this was our verdict.
Was it unanimous, juror number 1? Yes. Number 2?
Yes.
Number 3,
Yes.
number 4,
Yes.
number 5,
Yes.
number 6,
Yes.
number 7,
Yes.
number 8,
Yes.
number 9,
Yes.
number 10,
Yes.
11,
Yes.
and 12.
Yes.
All right, sounds like it was a unanimous verdict as to all questions. Can the clerk please record the verdicts?
The verdict has been recorded, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time and dedication to this case. I know that you've paid a great deal of attention throughout the matter, which was especially evidenced by the questions that you did submit. I want to thank you for that time and attention on behalf of myself, the parties, the court system, as well as the people of California. As I indicated before, this system does not work unless people like you are able and willing to serve, and so I want to thank you once again. Throughout the trial, I have admonished you that you could not discuss the case with anyone, including other jurors, and at this point in time, I am relieving you from the admonition. You can speak with anyone about the case.
So what we get, we take a few minutes off.
I suspect that there's going to be not only the parties that will want to speak with you, but I suspect also the members of the...
So yeah, taking those minutes off, we were 20 minutes behind starting the timer there. So about 45 minutes it took them to deliberate, which that was my guess. I said it was going to be less than an hour. It was going to be less than an hour, and it was going to be not live on all of them. So got it all, baby.
Of the press are going to want to speak with you, and so I'm going to tell you this. I'm telling the members of the media this, and I'm telling the parties and their assistants that it's up to you whether or not you want to speak with anyone. If you don't want to speak with anyone, then you can just head right out the double doors, out the elevators. If there's press outside that want to speak with you, you can just walk past them. Don't let them stop you. If you do want to speak with them, then go ahead and you can wait outside the double doors. We're not going to be speaking with anyone in the courtroom. And if you do speak with someone, please be respectful of the views of any of your other jurors in terms of the deliberations. You can speak with respect to your point of view and how you saw the case. And the other admonition or the other issue with respect to speaking with people is that it's got to be at a reasonable time and place. And so if people start bothering you or if people reach out to you that's inconvenient for you and they continue to do so, let me know and I'll take care of it, okay?
Period.
All right, with that, once again,
Our king.
you are now dismissed.
Our king, the judge. All right, that's it. Yep, as predicted, like I said, it was gonna be not liable and everything. When you've got two things basically you have to prove as the plaintiff here, which is the physical injury and the emotional injury, and the best you've got for the physical injury is this. This is all you've got, and you're supposed to say, we're supposed to believe that there was a scar there, a scar that was just so that required plastic surgery to fix the deformity. It's like, and this is the only picture that you've got that you've offered to prove that, and yeah, there is nothing there to hang your hat on. So basically, and yeah, let's keep in mind this picture is from 2022. This is from her plastic surgeon who took this picture. The incident happened in 2018. So we're talking about a 4-year gap between 2018 and 2022 where she apparently had no pictures taken of her, no selfies, no videos, no family photos, no picture whatsoever that she could show this jury that showed she was so horribly scarred and deformed in her face. Nothing whatsoever. So as a jury, you're like, okay, we're missing that. So the physical injury, it's like, okay, hard to say. In fact, you've got evidence that was provided that was contrary, showing that the only physical injury that we all know happened here happened to the receptionist who had to break up the fight. And as she broke up the fight, she was facing the plaintiff, and the plaintiff got a scratch to her forehead the receptionist got a scratch to her forehead because the plaintiff, who she was facing, she was face to face with, the plaintiff was trying to reach over and hit at Cardi B. So, and ended up hitting the receptionist in the forehead. So, yeah, actually, the only injuries that were actually testified to and proven in this trial was the victim that the plaintiff ended up hitting. So, boom, physical injury, nothing there. There's no proof of it other than, right, this is the only photo that we've got. So that's the first part. The second part now has to be the emotional injury. And the only person who testified to the emotional injury to the plaintiff was a psychologist that the plaintiff spoke to in regards to a workers' compensation claim. Now let's keep in mind, this case here was not a workers' compensation claim. This was a lawsuit directly suing Cardi B. So that gives you a sense of why was there no workers' compensation claim, or what happened to that. Well, I'll give you a clue. It's probably because it got denied, or at least the case was not strong in the way that she wanted to see it. So that's why she had to resort to suing Cardi B directly. So when you have the workers' comp psychologist, basically, who you had her testify, but all she testified to was the self-report symptoms that the plaintiff was reporting to her, saying, yeah, I have trouble sleeping, and I don't have motivation to do anything, and I don't really go out, and I'm depressed, and I'm traumatized, I have PTSD. So yeah, the psychologist that testified did not offer her opinion on any of that. She just said, here's what she told me. And if that's the case, then it's like, where's the actual proof of that? It's just her saying so. But we already heard her say so because she already testified. So that's that. But then you combine that on the flip side, where now the defense has offered an expert who did actually test the plaintiff and ran her through psychological tests. And and through running the psychological tests, concluded that even if I'm to assume what she's saying is true and that she has PTSD, the level of symptoms that she's reporting and the number of symptoms would make it so that even if she had PTSD, if we were to take a sample size of 1 billion people with real PTSD, not just a billion random people, a billion people with PTSD, and that's billion with a B, 1 billion people with PTSD, only 2 out of that 1 billion, so 1 out of 500 million people that actually do have PTSD would be demonstrating the level of symptoms that she was demonstrating. Like, that's how crazy she was making it sound, but the crazier it sounds just makes her seem crazier, because now you're so far outside the norm and the realm of what would be expected with so far outside the realm of what is reasonable to be expected for someone with actual PTSD. And if that's the case, is it really the case that you are a 1 in 500 million case, a 2 in 1 billion case? Or is it more likely that you're exaggerating and you're fabricating? And that was the doctor's opinion. His expert medical opinion was that she was fabricating. And this guy was like, this guy's like the king of psychiatrists who testified. Like, his resume was insane with how much experience he has dealing with psychiatry specifically. And like, his main experience is working in the VA. So you want to talk about his experience with PTSD. I don't know if you can find someone more qualified to speak on PTSD victims than this guy. And his professional medical opinion was that this plaintiff was either extremely exaggerating her symptoms or outright fabricating her claims. So the only expert opinion offered on whether or not she actually has PTSD or any emotional injury testified that it was his opinion she does not, because she was so dramatically outside the scope of what would be expected, what would be normal. So when those are your two prongs of what you got to prove, the physical injury and the emotional injury, and your evidence for the physical is nothing, and your evidence for the emotional is also nothing, and now the defense is coming out and offering their own evidence rebutting your claim, you just have no case. So that's just purely based on the facts of the case. Now you actually get into the way the case was presented, which brings us to the plaintiff's lawyer. This guy was, they got this guy off of Temu. This guy was so bad at his job, he got objected to about every other question. The objections were getting sustained, so it's not like these are just frivolous objections that are getting overruled, which is, by the way, what he was trying to do. He was trying to object to Cardi's team, and almost every time he objected, it was getting overruled. But now when he was getting objected against, it was getting sustained. So he's getting objections sustained on his own witnesses, where he should have a plan of attack, an expectation of what questions he's going to ask them, what lines he's going to take them down, lines of questioning. Yeah, his questions for his own witnesses were going into such clear, inappropriate areas, and sometimes he was even going directly afoul of the specific order that the judge gave. So, to give you all an example, clue you in, the judge ordered pre-trial that there shall be no reference to Cardi's history of fighting, of potential gang affiliation, any of her song lyrics. Basically anything about her career as a celebrity, as being this like firecracker type personality. No references to that, because we don't want to bias the jury and get the jury feeling like, well, okay, because she is like this as a person, therefore she must have done this here. That's improper propensity evidence, character evidence is not allowed to come in. So the defense filed a motion to exclude that kind of stuff, and the and the judge granted it. So we've got an express order. It's called a motion in limine, basically a pretrial motion, stating there shall be no reference to anything that I just mentioned, including any potential gang affiliation that Cardi B has. What was the third question? I think it was the third question. What was the third question that the plaintiff's lawyer asked Cardi B when she took the stand? Are you affiliated with any gang? Bro, the judge told you explicitly, you cannot go into that. And his third question was trying to go into that. So the plaintiff's lawyer was just completely out of bounds in so many different ways that it was just unbelievable. His antics, trying to get all worked up and make it all personalized of this is about the respect for the court and the dignity for the court. It's the only one here that's been disrespecting the court process has been you. So yeah, as in my coverage of the whole case, my live streaming of all 3 days of testimony, I called it the objection buzzsaw. That anytime he was trying to ask these questions and he just kept getting objected to, and then he kept walking back into it. And so think of the objections buzzsaw. It was spinning in full effect, and he just kept walking into it over and over again and getting decapitated, basically. But the worst part too was he would get objected to, and then he would it'd be objection sustained, and then he, without missing a beat, he would just ask the next question down that line of questioning that just got cut off by the objection. So it's I don't know if he just wasn't even processing that the objections against him were getting sustained. If this was his intentional strategy to do the thing where it's famous in the movies and the TV shows that doesn't happen in real life, except for this case, I guess, or maybe he just watches too much movies and TV and he thinks this is real life. But the whole thing of where Law and Order, where the prosecutor will ask a question that's clearly objectionable, so far out of bounds, and the defense will jump up and slam the table and say objection, and then the prosecutor say I'll withdraw the question. The whole point being they're saying something they know they're going to have to withdraw, but they want the jury to hear it because you can't unring the bell. Once the jury hears the what they're saying, or the question or the comment, then it's you're prejudicing, you're poisoning the jury with a question that you can't ask. And so, but I'm I say that jokingly as that's not a real strategy, but for this lawyer, it was. This lawyer was actually trying to do that, it seemed like. So yeah, so the facts of the case were just incredibly weak. The lawyer's antics throughout the entire trial were just completely ridiculous. Even the way he was presenting the case was just so all over the place. So, sorry, a lot to say about this trial. And I see y'all commenting. I'm going to get back to these. Don't worry about it. But we got a lot of people in here that are here for the coverage, so that's why I'm here to offer them. But even something as simple as when the plaintiff's lawyer called an expert witness, really any witness. Let's just start with the plaintiff. He calls the plaintiff to the stand to testify. And he asks 2 questions about her background. And then from there, he starts going into the incident itself, the facts of the incident. He asked 5 questions about that. But then he brought it back to more about her background. And then brought it back to the incident, but then tried to go down a different route that was totally irrelevant, got objected to. So then he brought it back to her background again. It was just bouncing all over the place. A better example actually is going to be with the experts. When he had the psychologist testify, it's one of these things where when you have an expert testify, you almost want to bore the jury with how overqualified. No, the plastic surgeon. Yeah, when the plastic surgeon testified, your goal as an attorney, you want to bore the jury with how overly qualified this person is. You want to go through every aspect of their resume. You want to get the jury to the point where it's okay, fine, I'll believe whatever this witness says. Just stop making me listen to his qualifications, please. Once you get to that point, then it's time to start asking the questions for the expert witness. But to do that right, you have to really establish what their background is, what their expertise is. He called the plastic surgeon, who by the sound of it was a very qualified plastic surgeon. He's got an Ivy League education. He's been doing plastic surgery in Beverly Hills for 30 years. So, but that's the best market for it. This guy, from what it sounds like, was very qualified. The only problem, the way the qualifications were established was so all over the place. He would ask his first two questions would be like about his qualifications. Then he would ask about his office. Then he would ask about the treatment that he gave. Then he would go back to the qualifications. Then he would go back to the office. Then he would ask about office personnel. Then he would ask about his interaction with the plaintiff. Then he would go back to more qualifications. It was like, bro, like one thing at a time, please. Like, let's establish this is a qualified expert, and then get into what's his practice like. Because now you're building up credibility, building up this foundation. And then once you've established a really good foundation for all that, now start to ask about the case itself and the facts itself. That's the way to do it. But the plaintiff's lawyer was just like ADHD bouncing off the walls with the lines of questioning, just so all over the place. And it was hard to follow. It was hard for me to follow, and I'm a licensed attorney. Like, I do this stuff every day. I do trials all the time. It was hard for me to follow. Hard to imagine a jury following along with this, and yeah, just trying to follow the ping-ponging back and forth. Like, it was making it hard to understand for them, and they're the ones you have to convince. So yeah, it was the antics he was engaged in. It was just his actual skill and ability to present the case was just crazy. It was crazy all around. And like I said earlier, I went into this case expecting to believe Cardi was going to get found liable, just based on my knowledge of who she is as a person, and even the clip we saw of her outside the courthouse today throwing a pen at a reporter or at a YouTuber. So she definitely has a tendency to pop off like that. But the more I watched the case, actually watched the trial and the testimony, and I realized just how weak the plaintiff's case was and how bad the plaintiff's lawyer was behaving. And yeah, it pretty quickly swayed me into believing she's going to be found not liable. And the receipts are there. I'm not just saying that because the verdict's in now and she's not liable. Y'all can go back and watch the VODs. I've been saying that since day 2 of the testimony. Because day 1, we really only heard the plaintiff testify, and there's a very limited testimony there. But once we were getting through day 2, specifically, like I think when we hit the psychologist, the psychologist that the plaintiff called, who did not give an expert opinion as to her emotional injury, when that happened, that's when I started to realize, and the plastic surgeon, when the plastic surgeon testified, and this was the picture that we got, I was like, this plaintiff has no case at all. And from there, pretty quickly settled on, yeah, it's going to be not liable. At that point, it just became how quick was it going to be? And my guess was definitely before the end of the day, because I know this jury didn't want to come back. But my guess would be it'd be quick. The quickest I'd ever seen is like 10-15 minutes. I think it'd be a little longer than that, and it was. But my guess was under an hour. And sure enough, it took like 45 minutes, I think, for the verdict to come back. So yeah, interesting case. Really interesting case. Glad we got to cover it start to finish. If you're new here, and you think you learned a thing or two from what I just said, then I would love it. Would definitely love if you subscribe to come back for more. That's what I do here, is I cover these high-profile cases. Biggest case that most of you might know me from is the Tory Lanez case. That covered pretty much every aspect of that. Got all videos put up on that. I'm making the switch over now to live streaming to just cover stuff in real time. And but yeah, so if you like coverage on these big cases, then be sure to subscribe. Drop a like on this video. It helps out a lot with the algorithm. And most importantly, if you want to know when I'm going live, to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because that lets you know, notifies you when I do go live. And on top of that, I also, also on X, I post whenever I do go live, I make a post there. So that's another best way to keep up with when this is happening. I usually am live just once a week on Sundays, Sunday afternoons. That's the plan. But with a case like this, where there's stuff going on every day, definitely important to keep up with it. But now it is over. Now we have ended, and now I guess I won't say goodbye yet. I'll go through these comments that y'all made, just to see. But after this, I'm gonna head out. If y'all got any more questions, then be sure to throw them in the comment section. I'm gonna answer all of them before I leave. So I'm gonna hang out for a little bit longer, but definitely appreciate seeing all y'all good people in here, and so definitely some new faces. Yeah, okay. New day, new wig. Yep, you already know. It's gotta be. She has to switch it up every day. The way the plaintiff's attorney acted, they might need to let Cardi leave the premises before he does. Yeah, he seemed like he was ready to fight her himself. So Yeah, let Cardi leave first. That would have been helpful. No chicken dinners, security, no winners. Indeed. No, there are no winner chicken dinners here. Not at all. And judge is over. And the judge did a great job throughout the entire trial, I think, reining in the plaintiff when he was going through these stupid questions. And the judge was just sustained, objection sustained. The judge was even sustaining his own objections to the plaintiff at times and telling the lawyer, here's what you need to say. Here's how you need to ask this question. Because he was sick of it. He was sick of sustaining objections. So Shu dodged that one. Yeah, she did. But I mean, was it really like a close call dodge, or was it like, yeah, we kind of had a feeling getting ahead of this, of where this was going to end up, and did end up dodging it? Yeah. Sad part is Cardi probably did put her hands on that guard, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if that did happen. It's just a matter of, you got to prove it. It's not about what you know; it's about what you can prove. And yeah, if you are not able to prove that in the court of law, then how can we say it truly happened? At least to the point of holding someone liable, holding someone responsible for millions of dollars over that. So, but yeah, I would not be surprised. Cardi definitely seemed like to be an instigating force in this, but the big difference was the plaintiff also seemed like to be a big instigating force. The fact that she herself, and she admitted to this, she got out of the elevator herself to clarify what Cardi said to her, and then followed her down the hallway and basically cornered her against the wall. It's like the plaintiff was absolutely an active participant in this fight. And then that begs the question. It's like, if you are an active participant in a situation that you helped create, then why are you now entitled to recover all this money from it? It just seems ridiculous. But I don't think Cardi did hurt her. She's never denied her fights, has she? That's a good point. If you want to equate it to something like a terrorist attack, usually terrorist groups will take credit for their attacks because they want people to know, haha, yeah, we did that one. Cardi certainly seems like the one to take credit for a fight. But when you're talking about, okay, now we got $24 million on the line, apparently, I could see her maybe changing up her tune for that, to maybe be like, oh, actually, no, this wasn't me. I didn't do that. But I thought Cardi came across as very credible, very believable during her testimony. I thought she was very authentic, very believable, joking where appropriate, but not going too hard on the jokes of like to where it looks like she's not taking this seriously, but more so just like an exasperation of like, the fact that I have to be here doing this, it's just, we're wasting everybody's time. And that feeling came through, and that's a good feeling, because I think the jury probably felt that way too as the trial went on. But yeah, great judge, I agree. Now, how is plaintiff going to pay those bills? Yep, that's a good point, because the plastic surgery was done on a lien basis, meaning the bill was suspended pending the outcome of the trial. Now, because she lost, the plaintiff now owes the plastic surgeon, what was it, like $17,000 for the work that was done, which was like some micro needling, by the way. It wasn't like, makes it sound like this big reconstructive surgery, but yeah, so the plaintiff now owes the plastic surgeon $17 large. She was hoping Cardi B was going to have to pay for. Yeah, receptionist's testimony was the nail in the coffin, as well as the defense psychologist who said she lied. Yeah, the defense psychologist was a big witness for the defense. Yeah, just because you can't just throw numbers out like that, just willy-nilly. The fact that he was able to statistically prove with gold standard testing and data that her claims, the statistical probability that her claim of symptoms is appropriate and reliable, the statistical probability of that was 2 in 1 billion. And not just 1 billion of random people, 1 billion people who actually do have PTSD. The level of severity of symptoms that she was reporting would make her a 1.5 billion case. And yeah, it's billion with a B. So the fact, yeah, you had a expert witness who could give that opinion. It was very powerful. As well as the receptionist, I agree. The fact that the receptionist testified to feeling like the plaintiff was the problem, that she slid herself in between facing the plaintiff to try and back the plaintiff off away from Cardi B. And then the fact that the receptionist was injured, she got a cut to her forehead while facing the plaintiff, and testifying that the plaintiff was trying to swing and get at Cardi B. Yeah, and yeah, those are huge facts that really corroborate Cardi's side of the story. and the belief here that Cardi really was not the instigator here. It was the security guard, the plaintiff, who was trying to instigate the situation. So let's be honest, we all know what it is by this point. She was trying to get a bag. And I guess I respect the hustle, I respect the grind, but she just was completely way out of her depth here. And security guard got fired for the incident. Exactly. The plaintiff was the one who got fired for this, which she claimed was Cardi B's fault. But no, we had testimony from the doctor, the gynecologist who worked in the building, who said, no, I'm the one that submitted the report. I'm the one that told the building manager that she needs to go. That was unprofessional, and she really can't stay here. So the fact that the gynecologist testified too and admitted and testified he was not being paid for his testimony. He actually canceled his entire afternoon of work to come to court to testify, and he had no dog in this fight. He was an objective, neutral observer, and he came in and testified to some of these facts, and said he saw the plaintiff hit the receptionist. That while the receptionist was trying to break up Cardi B away, or break up the security guard away from Cardi B, he saw the plaintiff hit the receptionist in the head and caused the cut. So, yeah, the gynecologist was another huge witness for the defense here. And the fact that he also identified the plaintiff as the one that was the problem, and she's the one that needed to go, and then after the fact, she's the one that needed to be fired. Yeah, are you in a gang? Yeah, literally, the judge directly prohibited the plaintiff's attorney from asking anything about gang affiliation. Yet he directly asked Cardi B, are you in a gang? So completely directly running afoul of the court's direct order in a way that arguably is contemptuous. He could have been held in contempt for that. Or the judge was so chill, like he could have easily popped off. Yeah, he could have easily popped off on that. And actually, it makes me think of one. Oh, by the way, I pulled this up because this is here's the plaintiff now.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yep, that was a thought I had when the verdict came in. But now there is a video on YouTube. I'm gonna try and find it real quick of judge popping off in a case, but it was specifically because the judge issued an order. Let's see if this is it.
For me, not for you.
Yeah, audio. I need. Audio's only coming through the left. I don't like that. Hold up.
Correct.
I got it. I almost got it.
So you understand, and using
Your Honor, attempting to this.
Boom. All right, y'all remember this golden trial, the good old Kyle Rittenhouse trial. It's another one I watched a lot of back when it happened. Basically, similar story. The judge issued a ruling saying that neither side could go into a certain issue. The prosecutor here, standing at the table, started going into that issue. Defense objected. The jury was excused, and they had a little back and forth over kind of what the issue was. This is what I was expecting the judge in this case to kind of act like when the plaintiff's lawyer in the Cardi B case started directly violating the order. I was expecting a crash out like this.
And he's asking the questions. I asked the court to strongly admonish him, and the next time it happens, I'll be asking for a mistrial with prejudice. He's an experienced attorney, and he knows better.
Mr. Finger?
First of all, Your Honor, this was the subject of a motion. I'm well aware of that.
Yeah. So it's acknowledging this was like the issue they're talking about was the subject of a motion that was ruled on pre-trial and was kept closed pending the judge maybe reopening it on his own motion. So he's acknowledging, yes, this was a subject of a motion, and I'm very well aware of that.
The court left the door open.
For me, not for you.
My understanding of
You should have come and asked for reconsideration. You did on the one motion, and in fact, I granted your motion for reconsideration.
That was not a motion.
Excuse me. I did. I granted.
We did not move
that
to
was
reconsider.
Their motion.
We have not filed any motions to reconsider in this case.
That was their motion for reconsideration, which I denied. But I said I denied it, or I indicated a bias towards denial is what I did. Held it open with a bias towards denial. Why would you think that made it okay for you, without any advance notice, to bring this matter before the jury? You were I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. That's basic law. It's been basic law in this country for 40 years, 50 years. I have no idea why you would do something like that. And it gives, well, I'll leave it at that. So I don't know what you're up to.
May I respond?
Yes.
We filed another acts motion on this exact issue because, in my mind, and I argued this, it is identical to what was going on the night of August 25th, in the sense that the defendant was using this exact same weapon. He was using it in a manner to try and protect property.
No, he wasn't.
Your Honor, with all due respect...
I'm not going to rehash the motion. That's absolutely untrue. No. Your argument's of record. My comments are of record, and why I ruled as I did is of record. There's nothing that I heard in this trial to suggest that anything's changed. Even if you're correct in your assumption that you know more than I did at the time, you should have come to the court and say, I want to go into this.
So yeah, and there's one more quote.
There have been numerous occasions during this trial where they've opened the door. The one time when they're going into Mr. Rosenbaum's the reason he doesn't like guns. And I said something, I whispered in Mr. Krause's ear, it's because of the prior convictions.
Evidence. Exactly what 90405 put in the first place, because it was propensity evidence. Why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the
Don't
testimony.
get brazen with me.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that was a good example. I was expecting more of a crash out in that regard from this judge, but this judge was super chill. He was just like, yeah, you're running afoul of my motion, but just stop that, please stop it. But yeah, I was expecting far more of a crash out, but it's okay. But yeah, the fact that the plaintiff's lawyer was even trying to do that was wild. But yeah, anyway, that's where we're arguing again. Nobody will believe the guard, not even the guard, wasted taxpayers' dollars. Yeah, at least this was a civil case and not a prosecution. If this was a prosecution of Cardi B, then that'd be a major waste of taxpayer dollars because you're now using state resources to prosecute. At least this is, people are doing this on their own dime. Yeah, it wasted court time, but, whatever. They're paid to be there either way, regardless. With the way this economy is, I hope she doesn't have kids or anyone depending on her. She needs like 3-4 jobs. I'm talking working 20 out of 24 hours. Yeah, she's got a lot of money to pay off now to afford this plastic surgery that she was hoping was going to get paid for by Cardi B. But all cowbell, no attorney. Here's the thing. My famous saying I always go back to. Y'all probably heard this before on this channel. But when the law is on your side, you pound the law. When the fact's on your side, you pound the facts. When neither's on your side, you pound the table. And the plaintiff's lawyer was doing a lot of table pounding all throughout this trial. Metaphorically, he wasn't literally pounding the table. But the way he was speaking, the way he was this is just unacceptable. I have a duty to inform the court that today, Cardi B, on the steps of this very courthouse, assaulted a reporter by throwing a pen at her. And this is, so just unacceptable and indicative, and I have to put this on the record. And it's like, bro, calm down, my guy. Yeah, all cowbell, no attorney. I agree. Also, doctor there. Plus, he also microneedles. She had makeup on in the scar photo. Why wouldn't she be fresh faced? That's when I knew she was lying. I saw the photo before I saw her testify. Yeah, no, that's another good point. Where was it? I just had it. I had that thought too. Here it is.
Because the middle finger being longest, it grips the skin.
Maybe? Oh, never mind. It's a different one. Where was it? Am I too far now? I think so. But yeah, the picture of the photo, it's like, I even noticed that, and I am no makeup expert by any means. But the fact that I saw that, it's like, why she got makeup on in this photo? I would definitely expect there to be a... Was this not it? I could have sworn this was
the middle
it.
finger being...
Great. No, I lost it. Oh well. Yeah, the fact that there was makeup on the photo, I'm like, why are you not taking a barefaced photo to show this scar that supposedly is there? So, yeah. Okay. Where did we leave off? I missed day one, but yeah, all through it, you were saying the same as now. I thought initially the same downward emoji. Yep. Pretty much. And day one really wasn't much to see. Actually, I guess it was important. It was important as far as establishing the plaintiff's story and laying the groundwork for like, okay, here's the plaintiff's kind of what there's her story, what we're operating based off of. So now when we get the expert testimony, when we get the receptionist testimony, when we get Cardi B's testimony, now we can match it up against the plaintiff's story. And so in the one sense, if you missed day one, you missed the plaintiff's story, there really wouldn't be too much as far as like, because there really is not much other than what she already said, which is, yeah, I was in the elevator and I got out and Cardi B said something slick, and so I went to confront her about it, and the next thing you know, she was assaulting me, she was hitting me, and that was kind of it. But then really it was the cross-exam that was way more devastating for the plaintiff than even her own direct exam, because the prosecutor or the defense attorney got to question her about this incident report that she supposedly, according to her, was like, oh, I don't have access to this email. But as we know now, she did. She wrote an incident report explaining what happened. She wrote that 2 days after the incident. And that was done through her personal email. She sent it from her personal email to the property manager. When asked, do you have any emails or incident reports from the time, her answer to that interrogatory, this is pretrial, her answer to that was, no, I don't have anything. Then, when the defense was able to find that actually she did have something, and they had to get that through the company, her answer then shifted from, the goalpost moved from, I don't have anything, to, well, I did a report, but it was on my old work email, and I don't have access to that email. And she said that, like, so matter-of-factly, like, I believed her. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You know, I used to be a DA, I used to be a prosecutor. I don't have access to my state email anymore. Now, I'm in private practice now. If there's an email on my state email, I don't have access. I cannot get to it. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then you find out that actually, no, the email was sent through her personal email. It's a Gmail account. And so it's like, wait, what do you mean you don't have access to this? This is your personal email. So the fact that the defense was able to cross-examine her based on that on day one and just show in her incident report from 2 days after the fact, she acknowledges that she was in the wrong and she apologized for her conduct. She acknowledges that she stepped out of the elevator to basically confront Cardi B. Because that's the thing. This whole thing started, Cardi was in the elevator. The elevator doors open. Boom. Plaintiff is standing there outside of the elevator waiting for it, about to go in. They kind of pass each other as they go in. The plaintiff says something like, oh my gosh, that's Cardi B. So Cardi B says something slick back because she thinks she's being recorded now. And she's there for a discreet pregnancy check, so she doesn't want her business being blasted out there. So she says something slick about like, hey, why are you recording me? And then plaintiff is in the elevator. Cardi is out of the elevator. The doors are closing. Plaintiff stops the doors from closing so she can open them again and step out. And she admitted to this. This isn't Cardi saying this. This was the plaintiff's own admission on her testimony. She admitted she stopped the doors and she got out so she could confront Cardi B. At first, she didn't want to admit it. She didn't want to say any of that. But then eventually she did come around to admit and use that word, confront. So, yeah, so she admitted that's what she did there. And, geez, it was just, from that moment on, it's like, oh boy. And that all came out in the email, in the incident report email that she did, that she initially tried to hide. She initially tried to hide it by saying, I don't have it. I don't have any emails, any incident reports from the time. And so now for that to come out on cross-exam just completely, I think, obliterated her credibility basically on the spot from day one. So I know you missed it on day one, but it really got us off to a really good start for the defense. And then from there, after that point, when you got every additional witness that stepped in and basically contradicted what the plaintiff was saying in her testimony, it just became clear. It became clearer and clearer that the plaintiff, Amani Ellis, she was the instigator. She was the problem. Was Cardi a participant? Yes, absolutely. But was she the source of the problem? Is she the one who's responsible for this damage? No, arguably she's got a self-defense claim. If she's being followed down a hallway and gets pushed into a corner, then yeah, you can argue she's acting in self-defense at that point. But regardless, yeah. Can Cardi now sue the plaintiff for lawyer's fees? So it depends on the state. I actually don't know what California's rules are. Let me see if I can find out real quick. But my guess would be yes. Let's find out. Yes, I am Googling right now because I'm not a lawyer in California. I don't want to speak as if I'm an expert or qualified to speak on that. Also, nothing I'm saying is legal advice. This is all informative and educational for all of you guys. But yeah, so typically parties pay their own legal fees. I did know that. But if it's found that this was a frivolous lawsuit, then yeah, then there is an option for that. So my guess is Cardi's going to ask for it regardless. Cardi is going to ask for attorney's fees regardless. Whether or not they get granted, that's going to be up to the court. The fact that her attorney's fees in this case probably, gosh, honestly, it probably exceeds like $100,000. Would be my guess. I would not be surprised if that was what the attorney's fees was. So, are they really going to impose $100,000 fee on the plaintiff here? We may feel like they should. Arguably, they should to deter this type of frivolous prosecution in the future, but probably not. They're probably not going to grant it. Yeah, I knew it was wrong. I did it anyway. No, pretty much. Reported on the verdict on the news like 23 minutes ago. Yeah, we covered it. Covered it when it came in. I think I was 1 minute behind the live feed, and that's not my fault. Do they announce the verdict today? Yep, they already announced it. Not liable on all 4 counts. That was my prediction. I called it. I've been following. I live stream coverage of this trial from day 1. So all 3 days of testimony. My official prediction, really in the middle of day 2, was I think it's going to be a not liable on all counts. And then my final official prediction, after closing arguments were done, so the jury was back deliberating, was not only is it going to be a not liable, but not only is it going to be not liable on everything, it's going to come back fast. My expectation was less than an hour, and lo and behold, it came back in 45 minutes. So yes, okay. They have anti-slap or whatever that's called. I think slap and anti-slap, that's in regards to defamation cases. So that would not apply to this. Yeah. She wanted to brag about kicking a celeb's ass at the first encounter. Then when that didn't work, she cooked this mess up, and now look. Yep. This feels like one of those. This feels like a good story, like a children's bedtime story, about how when you tell one lie and now you have to defend the one lie, and then you have to defend it by spinning up a second lie. But now, in order to make sure they make the second lie make sense, now you have to spin up a third lie, and just basically creating this endless web of lies that are now you don't remember what's true and what's false. And that's why court is good. Trials are good because the truth will come out one way or another, and at least the truth of who's being more consistent with their story, that will always come out. And I think that was clearly evidenced here. That pretty much from start to finish, Cardi B told the same story. Her testimony did not change at all. The opening statement that summarized her testimony, or summarized their theory of the case, that opening statement was consistent with the evidence that came in throughout the case. When Cardi B testified, her testimony was consistent with the opening statement, was consistent with all the statements she's made about the case. She came off as credible and authentic, even cracking some jokes, I would argue appropriate jokes on the stand. Now, one can argue that you should never joke on the stand because you want the jury to think you're taking it seriously, but I would actually disagree. And maybe that's because I'm a bit of a jokey person. I joke with jurors during jury selection because I want to get to know them. I also want them to get to know me and get a feel for me and how I operate. And a lot of that is through humor, and you can build good rapport and credibility with somebody through a good, well-timed, funny joke. So I'm a fan of humor, of using it appropriately, and Cardi B was using it maybe a little too far sometimes, but overall, I think in a very good way that was breaking the tension, getting people to laugh, and getting them to realize that, yes, she's a funny person, but also like she doesn't take herself too seriously, but also her feeling in this whole case is not that she's angry or upset or anything. It's just that she's exasperated. Like, this is ridiculous that I even have to be here to testify today, but I'll do it. I'm here to say my piece and tell the story. But to give off that kind of air of like, but this is ridiculous, and we all understand this is ridiculous. So I thought she conveyed that really, really well. So her testimony was really good, and compare and contrast that with the plaintiff's testimony, and really all of the plaintiff's witnesses, like they weren't on the same page at all. They were kind of all over the place with their testimony, with inconsistencies everywhere. And that's why I brought up this analogy to, or this comparison to, when you tell one lie, now you got to defend it with a second lie, and just lies on lies on lies, and now you forget what's true and what's not, and that comes out in court because the inconsistencies will always get borne out, and yeah, at least a good lawyer will find the inconsistencies, and the lawyer really had no way of getting Cardi B on any inconsistencies because she really didn't have any. So yeah, okay, well, that gets us all cut up on the comments. Any last minute things, any questions, comments, concerns, warm and fuzzies? Got 49 people in here right now. So, oh, it just dropped to 42. Jeez. Oh, well, that's okay. I could have one person in here and I'd be happy because we'd have a party of two. So, definitely appreciate everyone for being here, all these new faces. I'll stick around for a little bit longer just to chat it up with y'all. But if you like this coverage, if you're learning anything useful about the court system, like I'm a real life attorney. I do civil and criminal litigation. Used to be a prosecutor, so this is my bread and butter, and I use my knowledge and my skills to break down these high profile cases and pull the curtain back and let y'all see what's going on the inside. So if that's the kind of content you like, I'm streaming usually once a week on Sunday afternoons. On special occasions like this, I'll stream multiple times a week to get caught up and stay current with a present case like this one. But we are done with this one now, so I guess it's on to the next case. But yeah, if you like coverage of these cases and want to see a real lawyer talking about them and get breaking it down, giving you all the good tea, all the good insight, then yeah, be sure to subscribe. Most importantly, hit the notification bell because that will let you know whenever I do go live. Because, like I said, usually Sunday afternoons, but in case I go irregular at all, like I did with this trial, the only way you'll know when I'm live is if you're notified. That and also on X, Twitter X, if you give me a follow at the Gen Z Attorney, I always post when I'm going live. So yeah, that's really about it. Yeah, very interesting trial for sure. But well, let me ask you guys, what other cases have y'all been following that you find interesting and would like to see coverage on? Because I was mainly, my bread and butter for the longest time, and some of y'all know this already, but was the Tory Lanez case. Heck, we can just go back to, let me go, how do I get to my channel? Oh, here it is. Let's see, videos. Y'all can see from my stuff. A lot of Tory Lanez coverage because there was a lot to cover. That was a crazy case. But now we're waiting on the appeal. That was actually my first live. Was boom, Tory Lanez appeal oral arguments. We watched that in real time, broke it down. That was really good. But now we're just waiting on the official ruling on Tory Lanez's appeal on whether or not that is going to get granted. My honest feeling right now, I don't think the conviction is getting overturned. I do think it will get remanded for a new trial. As my official prediction, we can take it to the bank. I would not be surprised if it's not overturned or remanded, because appeals courts get really sticky. They really don't like overturning stuff, even though I think there's good grounds for at least a remand in the Tory Lanez case to have a new trial based on the some improper things that were done in the trial and the conviction. And I think the conviction is unsupportable. I don't think the evidence was there to support convicting Tory Lanez at all. At least not beyond a reasonable doubt. There was clear reasonable doubt in that case. So just waiting to see on the appeals court and how they rule on that. But my official prediction is, it's going to be a remand for a new trial. But indeed. All right. I've been watching the Adelsons embarrass themselves. Florida murder. I've been watching the Donna Adelson case. Okay, a couple Adelson cases. Not going to lie, I've not been following that at all. So you know what we're going to do? Let's do this. I'm going to let y'all in to an attorney secret. Here's how real attorneys do their research. Let's get it. Summarize the current pending Adelson case? Let's find out. Overview of the case. Background. Donna Alderson, 75, charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation in the 2014 murder for hire of her former son-in-law, FSU professor Daniel Markle. Prosecutors allege she orchestrated the killing amid a bitter custody battle involving her daughter, Wendy Adelson. So, I see. So it was her daughter and her daughter's husband custody battle, and she supposedly orchestrated a murder for hire plot against the son-in-law. Convictions of others. Her son, Charles Addison, along with intermediary Catherine Magbanua and hitman Sigfredo Garcia, have already been convicted and received life sentences. I see. Okay. Luis Rivera, another defendant, received a 19-year sentence after cooperating with authorities. It's nuts. Yeah, it sounds like it. A hitman for hire. Yeah, I believe it. 2023 arrest, was arrested late 23 while attempting to board a one-way flight to Vietnam, possibly to evade extradition. Uh-oh. Evidence of flight is consciousness of guilt. There's another famous legal saying. Evidence of flight, watch, I get this. Evidence of flight is consciousness of guilt. That's something that comes in. So, trial was set but was delayed. Continuance was granted. Trial rescheduled. Officially began August 19th. Opening statements in the following. Venue and pretrial motions were deferred. Trial currently underway. Expected to continue into early September with witness testimony for their evidence presentation to follow. Okay. So just based on this really informed, intuitive summary that's super ultra reliable, and I'm actually only half joking when I say that, ChatGPT is actually quite good for something like this, a quick breakdown. So yeah, y'all are watching the real lawyering in real time. I promised on this channel I pulled the curtain back and I let y'all know what it's really like. But yeah, no, it's yeah. I only say that half jokingly. If I need a quick if I need a quick answer on something, I find ChatGPT is actually more helpful than a Google search. Just punch it in like this and just get something like this. So. Anyway, well, just based on it, well, first off, maybe y'all can help me out. What's with the headphones? Because I've been seeing a lot of these pictures of the case, and it seems like she's usually wearing headphones. So does she not speak English, or is she hard of hearing? If y'all can help me out in the chat for that. But I can already say that big facts that are jumping out to me, yeah, this attempted evasion, that's a big one. That's a really big one as far as consciousness of guilt, because that totally comes in as evidence. If you best believe the prosecutors are bringing that up to prove that she's got a consciousness of guilt here. That convictions of others, this is also significant because we're talking about here, who is the hitman? Sigfredo Garcia? The other guy. So yeah, hitman. If we're talking about basically this whole conspiracy, everyone's already been convicted of the plot. It's undisputed now, basically, that there was a conspiracy to kill this guy, and because all these people have already been convicted of it, the only question now is, was she involved in the conspiracy? And that's going to come out through phone logs, emails, communications between the two. Because if we're talking about conspiracy, conspiracy, basically, if you're convicted of conspiracy, it basically puts you on the same level as the original charge itself, because you helped facilitate and solicit the original charge. So even though she wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, if she contributed to it, if she helped out, and basically there was a meeting of the minds that there was going to be this plan to kill this person, yes, the person who pulled the trigger is the one most culpable for that, but everyone else is also culpable. And yeah, it sounds like, there is no dispute now, at least as far as there have been convictions showing that there was a conspiracy. The conspiracy was real, but was she involved in it? That is the question here. So, hard of hearing supposedly, no idea if she's hard of hearing or faking that. Like everything else, it's wild. Judge keeps reminding her to put them on. We're on the same page. Yeah. If the judge has to keep reminding you that you're hard of hearing, and to wear your headphones, then that's not a good look. So yeah, it definitely could be a sympathy play, trying to appear this weak, feeble old lady to the jury. Oh, I can't even hear anymore. Please don't send me to jail. So yeah, so wow, this does sound like a very interesting case. I'm definitely gonna look more into it, see what I can find, maybe talk more about it on the next stream, because that's gonna be my plan. It's basically streamed. Today's day 4 of the trial, the Cardi B trial. Yeah, I did not 4 days in a row, but I did do the last 3 days in a row, and I did day 1 a couple of days before that. I think last Friday, because yeah, it was Friday and off Saturday because I had plans. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, 4 out of the last 5 days I've been covering the Cardi B trial. So definitely gonna take a little bit of a break, but just a break as far as getting back to the regular streaming schedule of Sundays, Sunday afternoons, talking about stuff. But I want to look into this one, and I want to see what there is to cover, what there is interesting to cover. It might just be watching a highlights video of the trial, because this is the main problem with doing what I do and covering cases is, gosh, these trials are so long, and there's so much stuff that's really not interesting to talk about or cover. It's necessary. It's very interesting if you're like really into this stuff, like I am. But as far as, putting together an entertaining stream, it's really not going to be that interesting. So it's not like I can, and also, right, I work a day job. I can only really do the stuff after work, and I still have a life outside of YouTube as well. Like right now I'm missing my high school girls volleyball game that I'm helping out with. But yeah, I may see if the game's still going, see if I can pop over there and get the end of that. But yeah, so resuming streaming schedule is going to be Sunday afternoon. My plan is to usually do it around 3 o'clock Eastern, roughly, and just go over 3-4 hours just to catch up on the legal news of the week. And but yeah, I'm gonna do some research on the Adelson stuff, and we can talk more about it on Sunday, and I can give y'all my opinions and my predictions on the case. But oh yeah, that's kind of like I was just saying though. It's like I like covering stuff in its entirety. That's why I did the Cardi B trial, because 3 days of testimony, I can do that. We can do all of that in just a couple days. But some of these, especially like a murder trial, like I think of the Murdaugh trial, man, that thing was like a month-long trial. It's like, gosh, I can't do all of it. Hey, we just hit 1,000 views on the stream. Cool. Yeah, awesome. But yeah, no, I really appreciate all the coverage or all the support that y'all gave me through the Cardi B trial. Looks like Mary said, I had heard the name Cardi B, but didn't know much about her. Oh, you don't know much about Cardi B, do you? Well, let's fix that. Hold up. Belcalis Almanzar. That is a new thing I just learned. I just learned her full name. I did not know that before this. But here we go. Let's do.
I need allies.
Let's do this. Just while we're here, while we're hanging out. Hey.
I'm just a regular schmegular girl from the Bronx. What's poppin'?
My name is Cardi B.
Yeah. What?
And I am from the Bronx.
You know who I am. Sometimes I can be a little rough around the edges and whatever. I'm from the hood. I think that's OD gangsta. No. Girl. I'm classy.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. Do you have any fight clips? We got to see her scrap. She's got all her sayings, of course, but we need some of this.
A girl have beef with me, she gonna have beef with me. Okay.
Here we go. Oh, rare. There's our girl, Belcalis Almanzar. Oh man. Well, there you go. And none of that was allowed to come into the to this trial because none of it's relevant. So, yep. Agree macrograms. He is evil. Oh, maybe she is evil. But talk about Miss Adelson here. But oh yeah. All right, let's finish it off here with a little bit of scrolling. Let's see what the internet has to say about this trial. She spoke to the press. Actually, I'm curious about this. Let's listen to this. Hello.
Okay. So first thing first, I want to thank my lawyers. I want to thank the jurors. I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank the respectful press. I really, really appreciate that, and I want to thank everybody at home supporting me.
Emphasis on respectful press, right? Because the disrespectful press, they get pens thrown at them by Cardi B. So definitely following you from now on. I appreciate it. No, I'm glad you found it. I think you're gonna like it here. It's some big brain, high IQ, big brain legal breakdowns. That's what we're trying to do, and I'm trying to build a community of people that enjoy learning about the law, like the real law, not just the TV-ified, exaggerated versions we see on TV and movies. So yes. So it's good to meet you, at least virtually, and hope to see you on some future streams, Alicia James.
I know you guys having a little key with the moment, but to be honest with you, I have missed my kids' first day of school today.
Oh.
I missed my kids' last week of school yesterday because of this. And I'm not even playing around. I will, even if I'm in my deathbed, I swear to God, I will say it in my deathbed. I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl. I didn't lay my hands on that girl. And with that being said, this time around, I'm going to be nice. The next person to try to do a frivolous lawsuit against me, I'm going to countersue. And I'm going to make you pay.
Okay.
Because this is not okay. I think people have like this misinterpretations of celebrities. Like, it's like, oh, well, we could ask for this and they're going to settle. You don't work at home and you don't work all day and you don't work for your money to give out your money. So don't ever think that I'm just gonna give you my money that I work hard for. I don't lay in bed all day. I work all day and I work hard for my money, for my kids and for people I take care of. So don't you ever think that you're gonna sue me and I'm just gonna settle and just give me my money. It's not gonna happen. I do also want fans at home though not to find their social media, her family's social media, her social media, and bother her. I hope that this is something that I leave behind, that she leave behind. Don't go bother her. Don't be talking about her. Don't be talking about how she look. Don't call her no nasty names. Let's just put this behind. But I'm giving a warning. I am not that celeb that you're gonna sue and you think it's gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle, especially when I'm super completely innocent. I know I got a little reputation, but I swear to God I'm innocent. I swear to God, like this, like I'm really innocent for real. And I just want to say thank you, everybody. It's been really tough. It's been really long nights for me. I'm in the middle of album rollout, so it's been late nights.
Am I the drama?
And early 5:30 in the morning. I gotta get up 5:30 so I can look like this for y'all. Muchas gracias para toda mi gente latina que me están soportando y vinieron toda la mañana. Ustedes se ven bien, maquillada, pelo, cuerpo bonito, y vinieron para acá para
5 días.
Show me support. 5 días. Y los hombres también. Una peluca diferente. I'm telling you guys, when I say that my forehead is raw from changing all these wigs, raw. And yeah, thank you for the witnesses and thank you for everybody that just took their time to come out here.
All right, that was actually a really good statement. She took the time to address directly the substance, but also put everybody on notice clearly. Look, none of y'all better try this again. I'll be nice this time, but the next person that tries to sue me frivolously, like, look, I'm countersuing. You're going down. You will be the example. Let this be the example, so I don't got to make an example out of you. That and then to take the time to say, look, no one go and harass this girl. Don't go find her social medias. Just let it be. Leave it alone. We're moving on. This is over. This is behind us. I think also is surprisingly classy. Yeah, very, very classy of Cardi B to say that. So, yeah, so that was good. That was good. Good on her. All right, let's see what else we're seeing through here. You know, Twitter always is the place to be for this kind of stuff. Okay, just getting results. Cardi B trial comedy gold. Lady Imani L suing her is clearly just trying to cash in on suing a rich celeb, and her, the plaintiff lawyer, sounds like one of those "you don't pay unless we win" billboard guys, like he was hired off Temu. Yeah. Man, this is the best image you could get. Whatever.
Walking forward.
Right. And she's, you said she's bigger than you, is that correct?
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
My eyes.
I mean, look.
I'm looking, I don't agree with that. What is your basis? Are you saying she's physically bigger, she's taller?
I mean, you have her medical records,
I
right?
don't have anything. I'm asking you the question.
I mean, I was 130 pounds at that time.
So she's overweight, right? In your opinion.
Objection, relevant.
She's a little...
You don't need to answer me.
Okay.
Hey, she don't need to say any words to
Did
answer.
you make fun of her that she was overweight when you were there in the hallway?
I don't think so.
Did you call her fat?
No, I was calling her a bitch.
Bitch?
Yes. Walking forward.
Right. And she's,
No, I was calling her a bitch.
call her fat?
No. I don't think so.
Did you call her fat?
No, I was calling her a bitch.
Bitch?
Yeah.
Bro, like that. I think that's hilarious. That is so funny. But like also, I think good. I think it helps her testimony because like, yeah, it's true. I believe it. I think everyone believes that is what she was saying, and she's not going to deny it. She's not going to deny how she acted. She's going to own up to what she actually did. But, bro, yeah. Barty gang, tonight we celebrating. Uh-oh. Okay. Bro. Yeah, security heavy. That got me too. That was, she's like, well, she's not fat. She's just security heavy. Yeah. Well, what her case, not up to pay damages to the former security. And even the ways this was being framed as like the former security guard made it sound like it was her security guard. That's what I thought going into this. I'm like, wait, her former security guard is suing her? But no, it's just a former security guard. But missed my kid's first day of school today for this. If you think I'm here to play with you, god damn it, I'm not. Preach, girl. Go, queen. That fan base. I hope they use that video against her. What video? Yeah. Fan base is going to have to hope harder moving forward. Cardi B is highly favored. Blessed and highly favored. Speaking to press, telling her fans to not go to lady social media to bully her. Such a class move. Something another female rapper would never do. Uh-oh. Hold up. Who's the subtweet here? Y'all can help me out here. Who's being... Obviously not Beyonce. What other female rapper is being dissed right here? Yeah, y'all gonna have to help me out with that one. Another one for the collection. Thank ya. Yeah, my girl T with Tia. You know I gotta hit her with the likes. Definitely go give her a follow. She's the best. Oh yeah. As a healthcare worker, the Cardi B trial is mind-blowing to me. Recording a patient going to an appointment and then turning around and suing them is crazy when the only person that did something illegal in this scenario is you. Yep. I mean, yeah. Simply said. Yep. Reported tomorrow when he realized he was a... Cardi B angrily throws pen after asked about Offset Stephon Diggs triangle. Reported tomorrow when he realizes he was assaulted by Cardi B on camera.
Anything you want to say, we suing.
Oh boy. Blessed and highly favored, as we've established. Cardi B has won the lawsuit. Let me not say any of this for YouTube purposes. Yep. Danger to society. She should have been arrested outside the courthouse for assaulting a journalist on film. Her violent behavior is disturbing. She's going to get someone hurt or killed. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know. That's a bit of a hot take right there. One thing about Cardi B, she will throw something at you. I remember this one too. I remember when she threw, I think it was the microphone. But to be fair, someone threw something at her first. I think someone threw like a shoe at her or a can, like a can of beer or something. And so they threw something at her first, and so she threw something back. Like, come on now. All right, one more time.
Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me.
Yeah, that's another. Let's think about the phrasing on that real quick too. It was before I even played again. What I just remember hearing. Insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Y'all see the contradiction there? What do you mean insiders are claiming he's doing something publicly? Why do you need an insider to give you the scoop on public behavior? But let's make sure we heard that right.
Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time. Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
How you feeling? Cardi, your court look is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, that was a bit out of pocket of a question. Yeah. Cardi B literally has a lyric for everything from Bickenhead. Oh, I see. That was the reference earlier. Okay, well. Now rarely listen to what Cardi B said and drop the BS lawsuit against ASAP Rocky. Don't know any background for that. But yeah, I often fear losing my life to a number 2 pencil. You know, hey, do I need to pull the clip of John Wick? John Wick killed a guy with the number 2 pencil. Actually, he killed 2 people. Actually, if you count the story. We got a statement from. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, John Wick, he killed 3 people with a number 2 pencil. Well, yeah, don't play on my boy John Wick and the use for number 2 pencils. But she's saying that whole time I'm already anticipating the TikToks. Oh yeah, there's gonna be plenty of TikToks that's why Cardi B, she's making off like a bandit out of all this, because not only is she not liable, she got all this free press and free content to promote her image and actually show her in quite a positive way, as far as especially that post-court statement about, hey, y'all, don't go harassing this girl or nothing like that. Yep. But, all right. Have really not heard the plaintiff, anything she's got to say. I don't know if this is from today, but let's see if we can figure out based on the statement.
My position is the same. She assaulted and battered me, and I don't want her to get away with it. I don't want it to be overlooked. Seeing a little bit of what she did to one of the reporters out here, she launched something at him, and it's just unacceptable. And like I said, I don't want it to get overlooked. I don't want it to be something that is brushed under the rug. What she did to me was real, never about the money, but more importantly, it's about the accountability. My position is the same. It to me was real, never about the money. But more importantly, it's about the accountability. My position is the same.
Bro.
She assaulted and battered me.
I think it's safe to say, my friend, you are Delulu. Indeed. BG is Cardi worst enemy. Plots together yells PFP. I don't really know what that's happening. What that's referring to. Free press right when she's releasing an album. Exactly right. This worked out. Great time. Cardi B is on video assaulting people multiple times. She's in court right now for assaulting a woman. She had husband's mistress jumped by men. She admitted to drugging and robbing people. There is an endless list of vile things she said to people. It's disgusting what she's gotten away with. Well, prove it then. Prove it in a court of law. That's all I can say. Certainly we have examples here. Okay, this is from today. But I don't know what this is in reference to. Also, y'all can help me. Which one of these two is Cardi B? They both look like they could be her, but like before she got more work done. So they both look like slightly not her, but also yes, her. I don't know. But I don't know. It's like, sure, we can point to videos like this of her doing stuff. Or here. Sure, fair enough, but where's the where's the victim? Is the victim coming forward, or are they going to actually do anything? Some of these are probably too old now. Statute of limitations is over with. So nothing you can do about that. But here, this was the opportunity. This was your opportunity to prove this case. Yet the lawyer made a clown show out of it and a fool of himself, and the plaintiff made a fool of herself with the inconsistencies in her story, while Cardi was remarkably consistent with her story. So I'm sorry if you don't like the outcome, but I guess all I can say is, like, do better. Yeah. Yeah, you're currently on trial for assault, and she decides to assault someone else by throwing something at them. Cardi B will never learn. I mean, we can agree this was an ill-advised move to throw the pen. But also, you can hear...
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect.
We can hear what the guy who was the subject of this assault, we can hear what he said after this happened.
How are you feeling? Cardi, your court look is amazing. Who are you wearing?
I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at me.
I don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't.
I still love you, even though you threw some stuff at me. Yeah, don't think that's going anywhere. Yep. I said back in May, Cardi B has a very favorable chart when it comes to lawsuits. What does that mean? Okay. Offset asking for spousal support from Cardi B. He's so bitter she finally left. You know he's going to try and keep her tied up in court like awful men love to do. But Cardi has Sagittarius ruling the 9th house in Jupiter and Libra, and these two placements are favorable for winning lawsuits and coming out ahead legally. Oh, and this was the same girl, Danielle. She called it, you know. Y'all understand. When it comes to the court of law, objection, Your Honor, Sagittarius is ruling the 9th house. You can't make that ruling because Jupiter in Libra. Your Honor, please, my client is a Virgo. She's literally just a girl. Boy. Yeah. No, never. And maybe some of y'all are into that stuff. Not gonna lie, I don't see. Maybe I'm gonna offend some people, but yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. But maybe, maybe I'm wrong. You know, she did call it. She called it way back in May. So maybe there's something to it, you know. Please get this mother 3 a bed. Well, let's listen, depending on what's happening.
Your face.
Certainly there can be times in trial where it can get a little sleepy. Not going to lie. Okay.
We really don't know. She didn't even know. Miss Malcolm testified that she did not know who scratched her face.
So this was during the plaintiff's closing. So that was probably about the 10th time he probably made this point because he had a habit of repeating himself. So yeah, not surprised. She was getting a little sleepy at that point. Do you know who your baby daddy is? I mean, do I know who my baby daddy is? No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to report. I do not know who my baby daddy is. He was gone like a mist in the spring morning. Well, he is press. What do you expect? Yep. Yep. Press. The press are not your friends. Celebrities. Yeah. Press. Their job is to get a rise out of you so they can get their story. They can get their clicks. And the sooner celebrities realize that, the better. You know. Our girl Harriet Eve again with the point. Disagree, obviously, with the, well, let me make sure. She had the audacity to assault a journalist on film right outside the courthouse. Oh, we got the point of view. Hold up. Let's get it.
Hey, Cardi, you're beautiful.
Uh-oh.
Cardi, insiders are claiming that Offset is publicly bragging about getting you pregnant for the 4th time.
That's still so funny of a question to me. Insiders are claiming he's publicly bragging. If he's publicly bragging, why are we relying on insiders to break the scoop?
Do you foresee any paternity issues with Stephon Diggs?
Stop disrespecting me. Don't disrespect me.
Cardi, how you feeling? Cardi, your court look is amazing. Who
You're
are you
amazing,
wearing?
Cardi. I still love you, even though you just threw some stuff at
I
me.
don't care. You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those type of questions to me?
Yeah, well, and look, and he got his clip. He got the clip. That's what he came for. Yeah. Gotta fight through it, girl. Get some coffee. Whoa.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. All right. If you think
I remember this one too, actually. Yeah, I remember this case. This was a guy. If this is the one I'm thinking of, he was accused, I think, of killing his wife or his girlfriend or baby mama, some sort of relation, a woman he shares a child with, and he basically was, and he was representing himself, and the kid had to testify because the kid that they shared, the kid found the body of the mother, and so the kid had to testify about what he found. And now here he had the prospect of a father cross-examining his own child about the murder of that child's mother, his former wife, girlfriend, baby mama, whatever. And it was a wild case, a wild situation. I think this is the same guy. And yeah, this is definitely the type of antics that we saw.
I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it, I'm not. All right.
He ended up getting convicted. Yeah, poor kid. No, for real. That's a tough. Whew, talk about a tough situation, man. People that say Cardi B should control her emotions are the same sociopathic bullies that always push the buttons. Isn't that funny? Yeah, I feel like that's the way things usually work. Yeah. More about the throwing of the pen. I get her point, but almost assaulting someone while you're on trial for assault is only Cardi B. Yep. And, you know, it all worked out. It all worked out in the end. Let's see. Anything else? Still, great clip.
Okay. Did you call her fat?
No, I was calling her a bitch.
I am that bitch. I'm a that bitch. Yeah, you know I'm that bitch. Can't get off of this dick. I am that bitch. Yeah, you know I'm that bitch. Yeah, I am that bitch.
The faces. Bro. Cardi can breathe easy now that she's just been found not liable of assault and battery in a civil case by a unanimous jury and won't have to pay any damages. And she plans on turning the tables with a countersuit. Not quite. I mean, we watched the statement. Unless she said something else that we missed, she's not going to countersue here. She's letting this one go. But she says if anyone else tries it, though, she will sue them. Yeah. Cardi B lawyers 8 per usual. Love that she gave a warning to the next money-hungry loser that tries to sue. Be ready for that countersuit, period. And Cardi, if you're looking for someone to join your awesome super legal team, I was here the whole time. Well, not the whole time defending you. I call balls and strikes. I call it like I see it. But yeah, when this trial took a quick turn towards towards the defense, I was there for it though. TMZ said that. Yeah. So there you go. There's the. Let's see if it was in reply to the statement. Nope. She can breathe until pen throwing incident this morning goes to court. Yep. Yeah. Well, it goes to show you TMZ that they don't always get everything right either, man. But Bonnie's lawyer, this isn't just a car accident with bumps and bruises. This is a serious injury. Bro, is he dead ass? Did he just say her incident was worse than a car accident? Oh, he's disgusting. Yeah, this is not a good look for the jury to see this. Definitely walking that line between being attentive but also humorous and joking around compared to, being so disinterested you're falling asleep. Yeah. I swear TMZ spreads propaganda. I mean, that's what it feels like. That is what it feels like sometimes. Yup. Already starting with the facial reactions.
Come to court and say these kind of words. Disrespect to the judge is disrespect to this courthouse. You cannot come to court and say these kind of words. It's just disrespectful. And just because Miss Ellis, also known as Cardi B, is a celebrity, doesn't mean that she could just say and do whatever she wants and attack people. Okay? If you recall, just to give you a little bit of background about Miss.
think that must have been during the closing arguments. Yeah. Oh boy. Now, quick trial point as a trial attorney. I'm advising my clients to be completely emotionless and do not react to anything going on. It's more just a matter of safety, I guess, or not safety, but more security. For if there's no reaction, then there's no chance for a bad reaction, and there's really no such thing as a good reaction in my book. So really, just trying to stay neutral, stay objective, stay engaged, but not like overly like overzealous, but still like you're engaged, you're paying attention. But then even when you get to the verdict, it's like, look, just be calm, take it for what it is. It's easy in this case where pretty much know what the verdict's going to be. It's tough when you don't know what the verdict's going to be to try and counsel to be calm no matter what it is. And sometimes you just can't help it. Reactions are just involuntary. One thing about Cardi B, she will throw something at you if you disrespect her. Yeah, it's more news. Yep. I agree with the statement. I liked it. It was a good statement. Yeah. This is the gynecologist who testified. He had good testimony as well for Cardi B, just explaining that, yeah, he was the one who wanted the guard fired, and he saw her as the instigator, not Cardi B. And he actually saw the security guard, plaintiff, hit the receptionist in the forehead. So, whew. Yep. Anyway. Alrighty. I think that's going to pretty much do it. Honestly, I thought y'all were going to drop off as far as getting back down to like maybe 10 viewers. But we stayed up about 25 to 35 for the last hour or so. So really cool. Really awesome. Appreciate everyone being here. If you are interested, you like this kind of content, then once again, this is my last time for the night. Just go ahead and drop a subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know whenever I go live. My typical schedule is to go live Sunday afternoons, talking about the legal issues and news for the week. So whatever it is, my plan for this upcoming Sunday is to look a little bit into this Adelson case and get you more info on that and have some content for you regarding how that case is going and where I think it's going to end up. But beyond that, also, the X/Twitter, best place for me to find me as far as announcements when I go live, as well as just general engagement. I get my occasional pop culture takes in there. It's mostly been about the Cardi B trial, though. Yeah. What was the last thing I said before this trial? Oh, yeah, this. True story. Did have a defendant who was offered 3 years probation by the judge. And he just said, no, I'll take the active time. I just want to do my time in jail and be done. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of it. I hope to see y'all on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, planning around 3 p.m. Eastern time. We will be there to talk about the hot legal news for the week. I might do a official final case breakdown on the Cardi B trial. It's just kind of like the last comment on it to close it out. And then, moving on to bigger and better things. So with all that said, appreciate y'all for being here. I know I got some new folks in here. Alicia James, Macrograms, you've been a trooper with me through this whole thing. Mary, you're a new one today, so welcome to you. Hope to see y'all in the future. There's going to be more big brain legal breakdowns. And gonna just keep having fun, keep learning, and rocking and rolling. So with nothing further, y'all all have a great night, and I will see you all on